Welcome everyone to the PVL. This is D2 alongside Jury. Apologies for the horrendous production. I am not great at this. I am just a simple caster. And Jury, you're kind of the same thing. You're in the same boat. We don't have a great producer with us, but we'll get through this.
But you know what? We're hanging in there and doing it anyway. We got this.
We kind of got this. In any case, let me just pull up the draft for you guys. First match is going to be VVV versus Team 1. Which is going to be an interesting matchup. We have plenty of known names on both sides, so that's going to be interesting to keep track of. But I will give you... I will just hand this over to you. What are we... This is the PVL Victory Rush. Explain away.
So, the PVL that everyone thinks of is the Trial of Champions. That is an invite-only tournament. In order to get an invite into that tournament, we run qualifier matches, or qualifier tournaments. Victory Rush is that qualifier. This season, leading into Season 3 of the Trial of Champions, we are having 3. This is the second of the 3 qualifiers. Winners of this will gain entry, they'll automatically be invited, and the remaining teams, we will select from the remaining teams to fill slots for the overall tournament.
So it's kind of like, you say invite, but it's mostly qualifier, because even if you, first of all, there's qualifiers, and even if you don't qualify, you're basically invited based on how well you did in the qualifiers.
Yeah, it's definitely performance-based. Just trying to get the best teams, both by, I mean, there will be remaining slots that are filled by me. I mean, I will select those, but for the most part, it's just based on skill and activity.
Oh, did I screw things up? I said, wait, what are our teams again? I'm totally confused. We have a...
It is not VVV. It is, in fact, Yugen Dynasty's second team, which is called Not Even Trying, versus Team 1.
Okay, so Team 1 is on our right, and YD's on our left?
Right.
Okay, and that's very confusing because the only person with YD in their name is on the side of Team 1. Okay, so we're going to try to fix that. Thanks to chat for pointing that out.
Nope, backwards.
Huh? What's backwards?
Team 1 is definitely blue.
Team 1 is blue.
Yes.
Okay, that makes more sense.
My bad.
Alright. Thanks. It's a good thing.
And for all those people out there that want to run tournament, this is your life. Why does that guy have YD in his name if he's not on the team? Who knows?
Wait, so YD is on YD though. We're good?
That is true, yes.
Okay, that makes things a lot easier.
The interesting thing about the Yugen Dynasty team is we have members formerly of Just for Fun. We have Yugen Dynasty players. It's a good mix, and they are a pretty strong team against the number 2. Team 1 is actually the former GMB, which was the former BMG, and some of the better players in the in the server in NA. So it should be an interesting match.
Right. Just taking a look at who's on these teams in the first place. Over on YD, we have members of Just for Fun who are in the Valor series, obviously Incarnate Some from YD himself, and then Team 1. It's one of those situations where they just kind of slapped a name on top because they're members of multiple organizations. They've actually been playing in the Fan Sticker tournament that I've been casting as well, which is like a guild tournament of the top guilds in NA. So you see multiple known players there. 80s Hero, Sukram, who's Marcus, who's in the Valor series as well. Raw, obviously, part of the Valor series. So lots of well-known names here. Anyway, we should talk about this draft because it's like we're already halfway through. Bans were pretty standard. Caffeine and Florentino are the most standard, whereas Team you very often see banned, and Richter is just kind of like one of the leftover strong heroes that left Hayate. But Team 1 decided to elect for Tulin instead, who is very often picked early, which gave away Hayate over to you game. They went interestingly for Omen just to have that strong side lane presence and to just be. It's just an overall solid pick. It leaves your draft wide open. You can kind of go for anything after that. And then on the other side, Team One went for probably the best like combo in the game, which is Balderman and Talon. Well, Balderman is probably the best remaining support. Talon is probably the best remaining marksman out there, even better than Elsie these days. And then a very solid pick of Lumber, and that's where we are.
So, have you? And I'm a little concerned. I've been at work all day. I came home. There had been some adjustments made to the tournament selection, the lobby. Did they patch the game today?
Well, they do some little micro patches here and there. So that might be what you see. Interestingly enough, you haven't banned Yina from this tournament, have you?
I have not.
So that means Yina is playable.
Yes. The only rule for that is if we're running the main tournament and a hero is released, there is a week of just a dead period, so that if maybe he's like Rourke upon release, we can adjust for that.
Yeah. I was casting that tournament yesterday, the Advanced Secret tournament, and there was like half the games had Yina in it, and it was very up and down because Yina is a hard hero to play. Lots of Chinese Americans and Chinese players in the tournament, so they were used to playing the Yina equivalent in KOG. And she's got a lot of combos, she's got a lot of stuff going on for her. But if you're not playing her properly, then it's probably not worth. So I wouldn't be surprised either way to see Yina or not here. But you definitely need to know how to play her, and we saw some games where she was amazing, some games where she fell flat. I think part of that was players aren't completely familiar with all the combos she has to offer, because it's one of those. It's like playing a fighting game, right? Where it's like this, you need this combo in this situation, and you need to have played like hundreds of games to get those off at the right time.
Well, and that's what I've seen just in playing since she was released in the Diamond Master tier. A lot of people that have played her either get absolutely just steamrolled, or you can see the people that have been playing her at least 10, 15, 20 matches that have at least a or a couple of combos down with her that are doing okay. And I watched a video, and I don't like really plug people that I don't know, but Shurko had a video of all of the combos, I guess, that he's aware of, and it was an incredible video.
Yeah.
So, random information, Shurko made a really good video about her.
Yeah, I caught that video as well, and it's just a bunch of like, here's a video. It's like A112113121331. I'm like, okay, got it, thanks.
Yeah, it's just like Street Fighter.
Yeah, basically, it's like her first ability can reset if you hit a hero. Her second ability can reset if you catch your like blades after you throw them. And then once you use your third ability, it resets your first and second ability because they turn into separate abilities, kind of like Liliana in a way. And so you can basically use 5 abilities, 6 if you include the reset of the first one, and then maybe 7. So that's why you can just go off on heroes. But then there's certain timings. Obviously, you don't want to let your opponent have any time off, especially since your second ability, the empowered one, or not the empowered one, the combining her weapon into one thing for her second ability is like this really long animation where the first time I saw it, I'm like, that is a terrible ability. But then I realized that it's a knockback and kind of like a partial stun when you use it. So if you hit someone with it, it's devastating. But if you miss, you're kind of just dead meat because you're just sitting there. But yeah. Anyway.
I'm just really impressed, honestly, that they have a character that can prevent. I mean, stun. It's like a stun slow. You're just jarred for such a period of time that you're gonna die if you're not unless you have a lot of health.
I just love how they have basically Elsu in the game, which is they've managed to put a hero from an FPS into the game and make it feel like an FPS too, because his snipes are extremely hard to hit. Just like it is in FPS, right? It's supposed to be hard to shoot people, which is not typically what you see in a MOBA. And then you see a hero is basically a fighting game character, and,
Yeah,
and they combine that into all one game, which is that's tough to do. You can't just like put abilities together for heroes. Anyway, we have a game that's happening. That's going
true
on.
story.
Last couple of picks here for Team One: Ruby and Superman. Marcus is pretty good at Superman, so that's not surprise. Ruby, I mean, Necroth is one of the top heroes, so we'll see. I haven't been able to analyze these drafts, but seems good. What do you? We're gonna throw a C. You can just flip a coin there if you don't know. But who do you favor after these drafts?
I want to favor Team One simply because of who they are.
Just draft. Assume they're all even capabilities.
All even, I would probably take. I would probably take the Yugen Dynasty side.
All right.
Hayate, I believe, is the guy to end all games. I just cannot stand him. And for good reason. I mean, he's just incredible. The nerf, or the mild nerf that they're doing to him, seems very justified. I think that'll make him a little more fair. But right now, today, he should be able to melt everyone except for Baldur.
Yeah, I think that was a nerf that went live on Taiwan, if I'm not mistaken. The funny thing is Taiwan, they just announced like, oh, there's a nerf here, and it's already in play. By the way, there's like they don't say anything at all. Whereas over on the West, it's like something's coming. It's coming in a while. But any case, I talked to Beginnings. This was on, I think this is on actually the other cast. It might have been your cast, I'm not sure. But he said whenever he goes against Hayate, he's like, I can't even pick a melee support because screw that. And then I've been in that position before. It is the most frustrating thing. That said, so Tony White is playing Hayate. Tony White's good for like burst characters. I'm not sure how well he's gonna play on this, and he does already get scooped up by Raw. No hit on the tell here to continue that damage, but does get a juicy crit off, so he's a little bit chunked.
But a guy like Tony, he can push that lane and annoy them to keep both of them down there, and Lumber should be able to help.
Oh, Raw misses on another wild charge, it seems like. I didn't catch that, but they do get the seal, so that's something to their name. Telenos does win this matchup early because she has a little bit more damage. Tony Ray is doing a very good job dealing with this. It really bugs me, by the way, that this Tel has no name. I'm just like, I guess we're calling her Tel then. Flexing, taking quite a bit of damage, went way too deep, but it's okay because he's Darcy, I guess. He's fine, don't worry. Don't worry, it's Darcy. Who cares? Go too deep, just dimensional walk out of there. You'll be A-okay.
Yeah, I mean, they've nerfed him, allegedly, but he's still an incredible character.
The thing is, he wasn't nearly nerfed to the point. Okay, like the reason why he's not really like dominant in the meta right now has nothing to do with his nerf. I'll say that. It has to do with everyone playing better against him.
True.
And that's because as long as you have okay, never mind. Hold that thought. We'll talk about that in a second. The Abyssal Dragon is under siege right here. We'll see who's able to take it. It's getting extremely low. Ruby's able to secure it in the end, but he has to get out of there. No, I think he was portaled back in by flexing. That must have been what happened because he was. That wasn't even a dash because not even Necroth can dash that fast. Seems like flexing picked him up there, scooped him up. Speaking of scooping, Raw scoops up flexing. And return pay. What is the phrase? The payback? It's all fair or something? I don't know. But Raw got his payback. And that's all that matters. A jungler for a jungler.
It's interesting. After playing, you play ranked for a little while, you get frustrated because you're 4 minutes in and there's like 18 kills on the screen. It's wonderful to see normal gameplay again.
Yeah, and I like this because they're not completely passive like some of the European teams, but they're not completely just crazy about going for team fights. So this is a nice mix of it's good, solid AOE, right? They're having the right level of aggression. Because if you don't have enough aggression, then you're not playing the game correctly, and if you have too much aggression, then you're just being sloppy. At the end of all that, the gold is about where you'd expect it to be. One side having taken the Abyssal, and the kill count being even. It's about a 400 gold lead. All hunky-dory.
We're getting set up for something on bottom, but I don't really know what the plan is. Just
well, it depends on
steamroll?
guessing on Tony Wright. Tony Wright, he has to run away from this. Didn't really get a jump on, and has to even use his Kunai Blitz. I was about to say he needs to use Kunai Blitz just to clear the wave, but wasn't able to get that off, and that means that this tower does go down. Very well done by Team 1 to be aggressive, make sure that Tony Wright really couldn't do anything. And Tony Wright's even going to die at the end of it, despite him being very, not passive, but very...
cautious.
He conceded the tower to save his life, and he still died anyway, so that's unfortunate for him, and a bad decision to go back in. Flexing taking a lot of damage in the meantime. Does go down in the end. Dimensional Walk is not able to save him in this case. And that means that Team 1 has free reign to all of the jungle of Yugen Dynasty. And they're going to go ahead and take that.
Yeah, not a good start from the
side.
Oh!
I saw the tail end of that. The Omen had about like 20% life left, but no untouchable apparently, and Marcus just swooped in, one laser to the face, and that chunked the rest of his life away.
I think it's great. People playing heroes that used to be just absolutely absurd, but are still good, that no one plays anymore because they're not OP. I mean, right. Superman is a great hero and has crazy utility and value if played properly.
Well,
and you just don't see it in standard matches.
Wow, Flexing just got completely deleted. I didn't even see where his health bars went. But speaking of Superman, Marcus comes in with the scoot, with the whoop, and all of them are just diving onto the back line of Yugen Dynasty. 80s hero trying to finish off Incarnate, and yes, he does with that teleport forward.
Tristan, not really sure. Yeah, you're gonna have to get out.
Yeah, and you can see when Hayate doesn't have enough farm, when he starts to fall behind, that he really suffers, especially against a Telenos who can just stand and shoot, point and click and start killing him. Tony went for the Fafnir's Talon first, whereas on the side of the Telenos, she already has Clavis Sancti. That's tons of damage. She has plenty of attack speed as well with those. I think those are called Tempest Blades with the War Boots. We should have AoV Jeopardy one of these days. Name all of the tier 2 items. What is this tier 2 item?
A Spoopy Mask.
Spoopy Mask is actually Spoopy Mask is actually the easiest one to say. Okay, what is the tier 2 item for lumber here? I could not say that one. I know it goes into Tie Colors, Mark, but that's all I can tell you. I know the important ones because there's no doubt about what you just say he's gonna be building Tide Colors, Mark, if you're talking about
as a support
lumber.
main that uses Tide Colors most of the time, I'm a little embarrassed.
Yeah, you don't think about it, right? But something like Tempest Blades, it is something, right? Because that Tempest Blades is something that you might like to go for over maybe gloves, right? Which gives you that gives you lots of attack speed, whereas gloves gives you the crit chance. So it is something you can talk about as a caster. Anyway, Tristan's taking a lot of damage. He's going to be able to flicker on out of there and use the Tides of Life, but Secret is in trouble instead. Meanwhile, Raw gets a little bit too... Oh my goodness, goes too far, but I was going to say, but Marcus scoops everyone up. He says, that's okay, I know you're trying to scoop him up, let me just do the scooping for you. And that is a 4-man... Not wipe, but it felt like a wipe. They wiped him off the board.
Yeah, they were positioned well. They were not prepared, obviously, for that specific instance. But I don't think they did anything wrong there.
Yeah, that was just a situation where they'd gotten too far behind. I mean, they weren't going to get out of that one. And again, like you mentioned, a situation where it wasn't that part of the game where they screwed up. It was certainly the parts before that where they fell too far behind to catch back up. Taking a look at these stats, Mark is leading the charge. 11.5, 3-0 and 5 on that Superman, with the second most damage on the team. This is about what you'd expect. Like if you look at the damage numbers, you're like, yeah, that was a wipe. Just looking at the damage numbers, because you can tell by the low amount of damage just across the board, the fact that Tulin is just dominating everything, so does Superman. And you look at Tel's damage, it's like 20%, and your first instinct to think like, she didn't do that much damage, but then you realize she didn't have a chance to do that much damage because the game ended. Interestingly enough, the Tel was going into either Fafnir's or Blitzblade after that, which I don't agree with, but anyway.
Which do you believe is the better option? I hear arguments for both.
No, I'm saying neither.
Really?
She got for Tel? Yeah, because she already got Shuriken, right? Or she went Shuriken, which builds into either one of those. But if you're playing Tel, War Boots and Slicksing's enough. Attack speed, and then you go immediately into Boa Slaughter and Desicle. You can't really wait till like your 6th item to be hitting your like massive power spike. So the reason why you go for that is because every single item is just this massive power spike, whereas there's no real power spike if you're building Fafnir's or Blitzblade and with your 3rd tier 3 item, disregarding boots. So you get the massive damage from the Claves, you get the massive attack speed from the Slicks. Then you get the massive healing from the Boa Slaughter, so you can heal back from anything. And then you get the Desicle, so you're literally unkillable, which is a crazy thing to say about someone who's going mostly all damage. The Boa Slaughter Desicle combo is ridiculous, and it's so hard to deal with because a assassin dives on you, and there's like nothing, they can't kill you. Hold on. Let me, I need to fix this thingy. It is not VVV. Hold on. I'm just gonna take away that. Let's see. YD? Go. And properties. YD. 1 team 1. That is confusing. It says 1 team 1. Anyway, I think we figured it out. Maybe.
All right.
What were we talking about?
You were explaining to me why Fafnir's and Blitzblade are bad.
No, I didn't say they're bad. They're bad on Tel. Because Tel specifically, you want crit for Tel because she magic crits. And they're not necessarily bad, but you're spending a lot of time building those items when you could be building towards massive power spikes in different items. Like I would say there's like a half power spike for both those items, whereas you get like massive power spikes otherwise if you build the way I said.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and I remember where I was at my explanation. Assassins like can't kill you. It's the most annoying thing in the world because they try to jump on you, and typically assassins have like a combo to kill you, and once they use their combo, they're out of steam. They either run away if they're in the Croth, or they kind of assume that you should be dead, like Cricknack, and then they find a way to get out of there because there's no more damage left over, right? Or that was their job, right? If it's like late game Cricknack, it's like your job is to just trade 1 for 1 with the ADC, right? And so you do that, you jump in, you use your whole combo, and like, oh, nope, just kidding. They have Desicle, and that's 1 second for them to pop their Bow Slaughter and completely heal everything back because she has so much damage. Completely heal everything back that she lost, and then now you've literally done nothing and you're dead. If you're the assassin. And that happens quite a lot when you go for that build.
I had never thought about that.
Yeah,
I think for Tell, it just feels more comfortable with Shuriken. So I've always built Shuriken and then moved into everything else.
Tempest Blades are very similar to Shuriken, so let's go for that.
True.
Okay, well, Richter and Florentino are our bands. No big surprise there.
That's what I expected to see the first time. And Valheim.
I was going to say that's not a ban. They're just searching around.
Is Fennec a viable ban?
I wouldn't say it's a viable ban until we see it. Unless they know something about YD. Yeah. We need to see it first. We need to see it played and like succeed before it should be banned. So Caffney goes the other side. I suppose the side of one team thought that they prefer having the support advantage over having Caffney. So they get Teamy and they ban the Baldom. So Teamy and Baldom are considered the two top supports right now, like unquestionably. So they decided, well, we'll get Teamy. You don't get Baldom. You do get Caffney, but that's what Team 1 have decided to relinquish.
But I guess that does negate the thought process that we're going to get some sweet graphical updates soon, and maybe Maganga Chognar are going to come back strong.
Wait, huh? What did you took a wild left turn? What are you talking about?
What I'm saying is, soon we're going to get graphics. We're going to get Chognar looking sweet. Hopefully they're going to fix him and make him useful in some way.
I'm having
maybe Maganga too.
I'm having a tough time connecting that to what I just said.
You said the two viable supports, or the two.
Maganga has never been a viable support, and Chognar, okay. I mean, he's been.
I know you can't stand Chognar.
The thing is, like Chognar, I don't think he was ever good ever. I think that people were just bamboozled into thinking it was good. And if you like actually look at the win rate, it's like one of those things where, like, you know, I bet if you looked at his win rate, it'd be like way lower than you think it is. Back in the day when he was actually popular, it's like one of those things where it's like, oh, Darcy's win rate is like 40%. It's like, yeah, because every single team picked him. But I think that, like, if you look back at Chognar's, it would actually be indicative of his actual abilities, even when he's popular.
I don't know, man. When I rolled into 600, my 600th game on Chognar, I was over 70%.
Okay.
And
what role did you play with him?
I was just the most annoying human that you could ever come into contact with.
Were you support?
Yeah.
So did you build damage? The only way I can see Chognar being a thing as a support is if he is, if he builds damagey. Or okay, the only other way you can kind of justify it is if you kind of play him as like a poor man's Toro, which I know it sounds funny, but if you do go full defense, then you need to just kind of soak all the damage against a poke oriented team, because sometimes they in a mobile MOBA you can't always target what you want to target.
Right.
So you have to shoot at him. So sometimes you can just burn all your opponent's cooldowns just by being in the way. But that's literally all he does. Like when he dives on the back line, and dive is, you know, putting it
No,
strongly.
that is not anything he is capable of
Yeah,
doing.
but that's what I see people do all the time, especially like Mowgli, for instance, the professional player Mowgli. He would just be like in the back line using his second ability or whatever I forgot what it's called. And it's like you're literally not doing anything. You're doing zero damage, and he thinks he's like being disruptive, and he's in the back line, and the caster's like, "Oh, Mowgli's in the back line. You could blah 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 blah," and then his entire team's dead. And you're like, "Wait a second," because you
Well,
think,
see,
and then
I
you
never tried to get to the back line.
and
I mean,
you look at the stats at the end, and his stats look good because he didn't die. He did a decent amount of damage for support in the end, right? Because if you add like 1,000 times, it's gonna end up equaling something. But you'd rather do 1,000 damage one time than one damage 1,000 times.
Yeah.
And his stats look good, and like every single time, the stats look fine, and it looks like he did something. But in fact, he never CC'd anyone. His team was dying because he was never there. Anyway, I've gotten long enough about how much I hate Chognar. Okay, we have a draft. This
Yeah,
is
we do.
the second game in a row
So,
where we're just like...
I would say Crush should be top tier support. Um, just me, because I play him all the time. But Crush is clearly not going to be the support. He's going to be on the side, or what are we doing there? Yeah, side lane Crush with a heal.
Yeah, seems like it. They're putting Wonder Woman in the jungle. Unless they do something really weird. Yeah, so they're going...
Oh, there we go.
So Incarnate's going Crush with... or Sidelane Crush with Execute. I don't really like Sidelane Crush because it forces you to group up as a team from the side lane, and a lot of times you'd rather have the possibility of your side lane split pushing. So there's literally no split pushing capabilities here from
No.
YD because no one else can do it. There's no like Necroth or anything. So they have to win team fights, and I'm not sure they'll win the team fights because the side of one team or team one team is actually a Taiwanese team going to the AWC, so I shouldn't make that mistake. So team one, and one is capitals OED. So anyway, team one is they're very good at not taking fights, right? They can get in, they can kind of flit around, do their damage, get out. So even if YD wants to take a team fight, team one can just be like, nope, sorry, we're not taking this. We're not feeling it.
Yeah, I don't see Cafney doing very much in this match. There's like Rioma, feel like could just melt her. Nakaroth could melt her. Elsu is going to be a constant annoyance.
I feel like the only way that YD can kind of win this game is if they bait team one to a team fight. That makes sense.
But it would have to be at a time that they're all there, they're all in position. Crest has his ult. Like the planets have to align in such a way.
Well, they have to. Like someone has to be the sacrificial lamb, right? Like Shinobi Himi, which is hard to say because that's not a Japanese word. It looks like a Japanese word, but it's not. It's if he goes in and says like, oh look, I'm a somewhat squishy Annette, and then just takes a bunch of damage, like takes a wailing blade to the face from Dialma or something. And then they use all their cooldowns on him, which is exactly what we saw yesterday. And against a lot of these very same players, 80s Hero and Marcus were on one of the teams yesterday. Then they could kind of bait them into a team fight and then just come back and take it. But that's really the only way I see them taking this game, because otherwise, like, how are they gonna make anything happen?
A lot of people in, gold believe that Crushed is a good side lane pusher. Just take disrupt, and it works in gold. But these teams are sensible enough to be able to stop that in its tracks long before it even becomes a thing.
Well, Ace here taking a lot of damage. He doesn't kill towers by himself though, so that doesn't make any sense. Like I could see the gold strategy or platinum strategy of putting him in support and putting disrupt on him, because then your team can kill a tower. But if you're in the side lane, you can't actually kill it yourself. So
I don't know, man. I just leveled up a Smurf. A lot of crushed in, in solo lane. It was awful.
Well, I could pick, like, I don't know, Toro in the side lane. And, although I guess Toro isn't NA, but I could pick multiple heroes in the side lane and make it work in gold.
80's hero in trouble. You would think.
Nope, he's got 3 teleports. That's a tooling for you. Alright, in comes Raw, trying to get the... Wow, that is unfortunate. He might actually die here. Barely gets that with a Booty Poots. But, yeah, sometimes you don't always want to chain lens in. It's kind of like the baby version of you don't want to Lasso of Truth in as Wonder Woman. Abyssal Dragon is up for grabs. Dioma keeping... See, this is the thing. Dioma's just keeping Crush in that silence, so Crush can't come in with his ult. Tristan taking quite a bit of damage. Here comes Thunderbird. Not going to be enough, and that means Ruby and 80's hero are in a little bit of a bad position. But, again, this is what I'm talking about. They're just too mobile, and no one can catch them. The only one mobile enough to catch them... Well, I guess Wonder Woman could get like an amazing like lasso off, but... The Annette's not fast enough. The Liliana could catch them, but she was the one under duress in the first place. So, yeah, it's tough.
But like you said, it's such a situational thing for them to get there that, I mean, they're going to have to keep forcing team fights. And I feel like what's going to happen is what's happening right now. They're going to end up in a bad spot.
Okay, so that was a double ult. That was both Metamorphosis and a Bracelets of Submission. And so stunned and pushed back and multiple shields, and still they lost that team fight.
Yeah.
I mean, still 0-0, but they had to run with their tail between their legs.
Ryoma finally getting some damage on that tower, but
do I have any info on who Ryoma is? Because this is bugging me. I need to name this person.
His name is Zed.
Oh, his real name? Or I mean, his
no, that's what's showing up on the screen. That you just can't see it because it's on Android.
Oh. Okay. Well, anyway, mid tower, being a bro goes off. Raw manages to stay alive. Oh, Sukram. 20 right. Oh, that was beautiful. Oh my goodness. Hime? Shinobi Hime tried to go for it. Marcus just turns on him. He's like, I don't care. You're not going to kill me. You're in a net. Which is kind of true. It's not like he's going to kill with the Wind Cusk because there's nothing to pin him to. And Shinobi Hime might have died for his sins, and he definitely does. Bloodthirsty supports. But yeah, that duel between Marcus and Tony Wright, beautiful stuff. The pulse cannon came out, but he's like, you know what? I can one up you there. Got the disengage, the 360 no scope. Maybe without the 360.
Yeah.
Mid tower under trouble. Lots of damage coming in. Here comes the Metamorphosis. Incarnate trying to make something happen, but no follow up. That's the thing. Unless you get like a 4-man stun.
But I feel like flexing in the bush there really could have made something happen. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's tough though because they're just so mobile. Like I said, unless you get a 4-man stun, whoever you stun is going to be able to just dash on out of there, right? So if you try to skill shot them, it's not going to work usually. Fuselad comes in. Ruby just jumps into the Fuselad, doesn't really care. Tristan trying to take out A0, but that's not going to happen. And lots of members low on the side of Team 1, but they should be able to get out of here unless Tony Wright and crew force this, and they decide not to. I feel like YD needs to force things, because otherwise they're never going to get a good fight. I mean, look at this. It's already a 3,000 gold lead, and that's it's not just the 2 kills and 2 Abyssal Dragons that causes gold lead. That's not enough to do so. It's mostly them running around the map and running circles around them.
Yeah, until they're able to disrupt their free reign of the entire map, they're going to be stuck in lane farming gold.
Yeah, and not even farming that much gold because their jungle's getting stolen away. I mean, look at this. Yoma
3-on-1.
Yeah, Yoma's fighting 1v3, and I guess he might get finally taken down. It takes literally every single ult. It took all 3 ults from them to take him down. And meanwhile, Marcus is just doing Marcus things and even messing with Tony right. Snipe. Oh, doesn't land.
Right. But you blow those ults, and the minion waves roll in. You haven't done any damage to the tower. I mean, to me, that's a huge loss.
And they're in trouble up top. Shinobi Hime, nice win cuss, but she's gonna go down anyway. That started as a 4v2 or 3v1, which turned into a 3v2 in favor of YD. By the way, oh, very nice play by Tristan. Though.
Nice.
Raw, not he didn't expect his teammate to die there apparently because he did have being a bro available. And I can't really blame him. That was a lot of damage in a very short period of time. But yeah, that was an invade from the side of YD, and they lost 3 there. So, yeah, not the greatest.
They really just need to get their head around what's happening and make a push toward anything.
It's too late for that now because they can't force anything because now they're down 5,000 gold. Now they actually have to play behind the towers, which is what they were doing in the first place, but they shouldn't have been doing.
Yeah, but they cannot continue to let them run over the jungle like that. It's going to be way worse really fast if that happens.
Well, it's just there's nothing you can do at this point because you're too far behind, right? So, well, that's one way to start getting back. You fight a 5v3. They finally found a fight that they could potentially take. Raw doesn't have being a bro anymore, and they're able to get out with most heroes, which is it's kind of a win for Team 1, considering that that could have been a disaster, and that could have been way back in the game for the side of YD. But YD trying to make something of this. If they can take this Abyssal, that might help a little bit. If I'm Team 1, I might just let this go, actually. Yeah, because it's not that much gold. it's not like they're really catching up here. One more tower goes down. So yeah, despite that Abyssal Dragon, because the tower went the other way, gold advantage remains. Anyway, like we were mentioning before, this has to go basically 20 minutes at least for the side of Yugen to win this game. Because they needed to be behind the towers and just kind of waiting it out. Like they needed to be like a 60k gold versus 70k gold situation where like them being down 10,000 doesn't matter.
Yeah, I just don't know. Mid towers in duress.
And Darkslayer is just wide open whenever they want to take it. Oh, here comes Metamorphosis on to 2. No real follow-up, though. Flexing trying to make it happen, but he's the only one in there. And does pop his...
Tony.
And, yeah, pops the Blazers as submission. In comes Ruby. I'm not sure if that was a smart idea, but he does get up with the skin of his teeth. Meanwhile, Raw does go down with the being a bro available, so that is unfortunate for him, or maybe a bit of a misplay. Marcus misses a point-blank snipe, and the heat goes down to Tony Wright. Tony Wright starting to be the carry that they need him to be. Meanwhile, 80's Heroes trying to pick up multiple kills, and the multiple heroes tries to go into Tony Wright. Here comes a Fusillade, not going to be enough to keep him alive. Tristan is there too. There's a Thunderbird blocked by Flexing. 80's Hero jumps in, but Flexing's right there to take the damage. There's a lot of damage coming from both ways, and there,
nice.
able to pick it up is YD in the end. That braces a submission. Not the longest cooldown. Was right back up there for YD. So 80's just picked up Rhea's Blessing after he went back to base. He just picked up enough gold. That is one of the more sad things to see. When you get a defensive item that could have kept you alive in that fight and you could have won if you just had that one item. And you literally get it after you spawn back in base. Tobias is asking what the score is. The score is 1-0 in favor of the red team, in favor of Team 1. Marcus barely gets on out of there, and just punches him against the wall. Is a net. Ruby trying to make his way out of there as well. So you're finally starting to see the power of this composition from Yugen, as if they just group up as 5 and pressure, then they technically have the superior 5v5 team fight.
Oh. Not really sure what happened. Trying to see if someone disconnected. Guess not.
Looks like we are back. So 6,000 gold lead. I feel like, yeah, they're gonna go straight for the Dark Slayer. That was their mistake earlier. They were pushing into the mid, which they can't really. It's not like they can't take a team fight, but that's the best way to hand the victory over to their opponents, is to give them a team fight that they need, right? And allow them to group up together. So the best way, I think, for Team 1 to go about this is to just push in all lanes, force the side of YD to rotate as a team, and if they rotate as a team, you can't cover all lanes equally. If they split themselves up, then you can kind of pick and choose which lanes you want to push. You know, the ones without metamorphosis and whatnot. So I would, you see the side of YD grouping up.
Yeah, but I just feel like they're going to allow lanes to get pushed that way, and it's going to backfire.
Yeah, well, this is like, I would agree that it's better to just split up and see what you can get done and try to defend in one lane. But if it's done well here by Team 1, they should be able to just push this regardless of how the configuration from YD. Alright, in they go. Tristan taking a lot of damage. Ruby trying to dive into him, but he uses all of his dash, which means he's taking a lot of damage. He does go down in the end. That was quite of an overextension, and they don't even get any damage onto the tower here. Marcus lands a snipe. Incarnate still in the metamorphosis form, taking some damage, or putting some damage onto 80's hero. Still trying to push in is Team 1. In comes Raw, doesn't get his being a bro off. The massive burst coming out. Incarnate dies on the backside as well. 2 A's here. Mage is doing lots of damage. Down to goes Tony Wright. This Drake doesn't have much beef left though. And it is a 3v3 situation.
Suka. Yeah, with the minions being still pushed Marcus. A little ways back, that's going to be a tremendous win for Yugen Dynasty.
Yeah, and they get even Marcus in the end. Very well done by Flex and getting in there. This is the second time Shinobi pushes someone against the wall, just pins them up. Flexing in a little bit of trouble. Yoma doing decent damage. But this is a new world we live in, where the Dark Slayer is just up again. You think you just dealt with it, but nope, it's a constant barrage. And Rage Abyssal Dragon up as well. Tony Wright getting pushed in on massive Fusillade, flickers away as well. And the whole big pulse cannon coming out. Ruby trying to jump in, knowing that the cooldowns are all down, but that is a Caffeine. Even if her cooldown's down, she can still walk and fight. Taking a look at these builds. Interestingly enough, Devil's Handshake coming in for Marcus. So he's going to have lots of attack speed if he can get a few shots off. Let's see if he can win this against... He missed the sniping against Tony Wright.
Oh, that was fantastic.
And he doesn't have a Blade of Eternity. He's not coming back from that one. Triple pulse shot just takes him down. Ruby taking a lot of damage. He does have the Dark Blessing. It does get popped here. As he's popping his ult, Tristan just throws off a Reiki shot just to make him think about it. And meanwhile, a couple of red towers go down.
This is exactly the scenario that you were saying would play into YD's hand.
Yeah, and a couple of mistakes here, I would say, from For one team, though, that's what you kind of hope for, right? You need a couple of mistakes coming out. Great play from Tony Wright as well, making this happen. Raw. Taking a lot of damage. Hopefully he can use being a bro at the right time this time. He's missed the last 2 or 3. Yoma getting some damage in. Popping that Natajutsu. 80s here. They're just trying to dance around them, and this team is, it's kind of impenetrable the way they're set up because they have so many layers between them and their backline. I don't think that there should be trying to team fight if you are Team 1.
Get the player, I believe.
Oh, maybe they do get it in the end, but here comes the side of Whitey. Can they make something happen? Raw is extremely low. Ruby's already taken down. Down goes 80s hero as well. Sukum is extremely low, flexing, trying to get onto him. Nice of Weiss lasso, but that means he dies in the end. Very well timed by the Dioma to make that happen. Out comes the Drake, but they can just hold on to this. Koresh is actually pushing out the bottom lane. I think he should join his team, but great Hurricane Wall takes out Yoba. Mark is going down as well. What is happening? This is a crazy turnaround. They're pushing it on a mid tower. The timers on these deaths are super long. This could be it right here. Raw is the only one defending, and he doesn't have really enough to clear these minion waves. Tristan taking a lot of damage from the tower, though. Has to back out, trying to kill Raw. Raw's doing his best to clear the minion wave, just to be a nuisance. Finally does go down, but that minion wave is extremely low. Can they take the tower? I don't know if they can. That would have been extremely close, but yeah, it's a good position to back up. Raw saving the day at the end there. And that's how you do it as a support. You have enough HP to make it work. You give your life for that minion, and more importantly, you never let it get in range of the tower, right? If you try to take it out near the tower, like, yeah, you want to have the extra tower shots hitting your opponent, but they're just going to ignore you and kill a tower. Or kill the core, excuse me.
How was that? Honestly, there was a point where Tony was at about 15% health, and he popped the bow, and I swear to you, he may have gotten a shot off and was instantly back up.
Yeah, well, Pulse Cannon just does a billion damage, and a billion times a billion, or times 1, I should say. It's 100% healing if you have Blow Slaughter popped. It means you're about full.
I just didn't see the pulse. I didn't see that pop. I thought he had the other, but that makes a lot more sense. Yeah.
Well, even his normal cannon, he just shoots so quickly that it's gonna just go right back up there anyway.
It was just fun to watch.
Fun indeed.
I'm curious to see the overall damage totals for both teams, because I feel like Team 1 has done an incredible amount more damage, and it just isn't paying off. This may be bad.
All completely in one area. Tony Wright just heals right back up to full, though, with that blade return, or that bow of slaughter. Can he get the damage and trying to get it done? But Heroes, 80 jumps up on him. Does that blade return? Is he going to come back? No. Unable to do any more damage. And look, oh my god, Incarnate is mid with a big fat red bar. That is a fully charged metamorphosis. That could have been helpful in that team fight. Very well done by Team 1 to force a fight without Thresh in the vicinity. And without that protection, that meant their backline was there to die. Incarnate not doing quite as good a job as we saw earlier, but he does take out the minion. That is something. I believe they can take out this core without minions, though. But they need to juggle the shots really well. They need to go, though, yeah. This is... Yeah, especially with being a bro. Yeah, this is over.
Yeah, they're fine.
Team 1... takes it. It was scary at the end, but a positioning error there from YD does them in. They get jumped on without crashed. That is a 2-0 for Team 1. So I think a lot of the issues that Team 1 had dealing with their opponents was they couldn't guaranteed get onto Tony Wright. They didn't have a a great way to get onto him because if you pinwheel in, then you're very vulnerable. So you always want to just kind of be on the edges of the team fight, kind of acting as a pseudo marksman. Ruby tried to get in there, but he was always shut down. And 80's hero is kind of similar in a situation as Ruby, right? You can jump in, but you don't want to just kill yourself doing so. So yeah, that was what made the difference in letting YD back in, but then YD couldn't finish off the game. Tony Wright.
Yeah.
Tony Wright, like always, 40% damage. So if you're looking at total damage, let's compare two heroes with similar percentage points. 11.2 from Ruby and 11.1 from Incarnate. But Ruby had 51,000 and Incarnate had 41,000. So you're correct. There's about 50,000 more damage dealt from the side of Team 1. 10,000 times 5. Easy math. Easy math. All right, we are going to break, yes?
Yeah, we're going to have to break for a second. It looks like one of the 8 o'clock teams may have forfeited, so we're just going to grab another team, let those guys scrim, and we will get ready for the 9 o'clock. So give us, I don't know, 5 minutes-ish.
All right, I'm just gonna go to our screen and literally just X out all the things. Except
all of the things.
Just put Premier Gaming on there and we'll figure out who's playing next.
Yeah, this is frustrating.
Be right back in a moment, guys. Welcome back, guys, to the PVL Victory Rush. I'm D2. Along with me is the tournament organizer, Jury. And unfortunately, we had a forfeit from Psychotics, so we're going to have a good old exhibition match for you guys between VVV and fill in the blank. Who are you playing?
It was Idle Stars, but Idle Stars merged into VVV. They're actually a really, really good team.
Wait, so VVV versus VVV? Or who's VVV playing against? Is what I'm asking.
Oh, my bad. This is... Hang on, let me pull it up. Maybe I mixed myself up. It's Yugen Dynasty.
It's like
the other Yugen Dynasty team.
Yugen Dynasty number 2.
Technically Yugen Dynasty number 1. This is the YD team from Valor series.
The first Yugen Dynasty.
Yes. They're also playing at 9 o'clock in their actual match. But they're just going to do this as a scrim to warm up.
Yay for warm-ups. It's also funny, though, because wait, are they playing in the second round?
Who?
No, they aren't. They're playing in the first round. Okay.
Okay.
So it's funny because depending on how the match goes, you could say they were lucky or unlucky to get this particular draw. Or if they win both, you could say it didn't matter.
True.
Or if they lose both, you could say it didn't matter.
The only thing, like, as a player in general, I don't know that I would want to start a scrim on stream prior to my match. I feel like it would stress me out.
You could, like, test random things. Plus, they're probably used to being on stream anyway.
Yeah, true.
You can just bust out the Yeena. The Yeezy. See if it works. Try this hero out. Give it a roll.
I think the character, just the, not art, but the character models have continued to get better and better. And though I think it's kind of played out that, she's a practically naked woman, I really like the way characters now are looking at, like, as the graphics are progressing.
Surprisingly, I did not notice that she was. I could not tell you what her outfit is. Okay, they're
ready.
They're clamoring for me to tell them I'm ready.
All right, let me boot the spectators, and we go.
Blue team's turn to ban.
All right, so YD1 left, VVV right, I am D2. We're gonna have to give you an acronym name as well, which is JR or something. Yeah, YD, we got VVV, we got D2, and we got JR. We're good.
It's just weird to me. I know, like, the entire red team as Idle Stars, and they've been Idle Kid, Idle Justin, Idle Kale for, like, weeks, and they switched, like, like 3 days ago.
You gotta get used to it. You gotta get used to it. I mean, the weird... Okay, it's weird for me when I'm talking about the AWC, because it's like, the defending champion Mad Team. It's like, oh, who? Defending international champion roster J Team, which is now Mad Team.
Are you gonna be there? Are you going?
Yeah. So Tencent stepped in at the last moment and said we will actually fly you. But only for the finals, only for the last weekend.
That's still pretty fantastic.
So I will be going to Da Nang, Vietnam. It's my first time to Vietnam. I've been to Thailand. I've been to Australia. I've been to Philippines. I've not been to Vietnam. It feels like I've been there because I have lots of Vietnamese American friends going off. And since I've been to Thailand as well, and I feel like their languages sound similar, and they've I guess not completely similar culture, but somewhat sort of similar culture. Feels like I've been there. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. We'll see. Anyway, this draft. First time in a while we've seen both Teamy and Baldum banned. So they don't want to give away the support advantage, but that does leave both Florentino and Cafferty available. YD going for Florentino. UV picking up Cafferty. Justin P just letting that run out to the very end. It's like, I think I want Yoma, not quite sure. It's funny because when you let these quote unquote OP heroes through, you still have to construct a team that best utilizes their abilities. Like for instance, Florentino, on the one hand you could say, well, you stick him in the DS lane and you're good. On the other, you still need to have a team that can function in a team fight. Because he just kind of fights the first person he sees in a team fight. He doesn't necessarily dive to the back line. Because it's like kind of hard to do that as him. Which means if your opponent does have a strong poke comp, then you need to have the capability of diving past that. And we're seeing that here from VVV. They're going, okay, he got Florentino. We're going to Cafferty Collie. Fusillade and Ethereal Pulse is poke for days. Or let's go Alistair, which I gotta say, I like the Cafferty Collie combo. That makes me sad.
It's a little much. Kali's bad enough.
Sorry?
Kali by herself is bad enough. You don't need Cafferty coming out. Just
you're saying it's too good. Face. You're saying it's too good. So why did? Which kind of proves my point.
It's an extremely valid point, but the thought of it just makes me sad.
Well, I'm not sure what they're going to do with Alistair. I guess what they're trying to do is like Alistair is a very good defensive hero. You can't it's hard to dive an Alistair below tower because he has two ways to just stun you in place, and one which is an auto aim, so he's definitely going to hit it. You can't just dodge it. So I guess they're trying to just be defensive early game and have Cafferty pop off late, but I don't know. I'm dubious. I feel like Alistair... Weirdly enough, Alistair needs someone like a Lindis to kill people off. Because Lindis can farm very quickly and just immediately make great use of the magic person. On top of that, she is a jungler, so she's going to be kind of roaming around the map and have a lot of opportunities to combo with Alistair, whereas Cafferty and Alistair aren't always going to be in the same fight. What I'm trying to say is, like, Alistair is not like an independent hero. He usually doesn't get an opportunity to throw his Matrix of Woe on the ground, get a magic barrier and a magic prison, and kill someone by himself. Sometimes that happens, but usually not. A lot of times he has a magic prison, someone just kind of pop it when you can snag someone, and you need the follow-up damage. And I'm wondering where that's going to come from, and Cafferty's not always there to provide it. Now, Dioma can do that, but we'll see if ends up working. Okay, so their last pick here for VVV, they're hovering Lumber and Alice. And I'm not sure where the damage is going to come from. They're kind of lacking in damage. They basically have Caphany and like a little bit of Dioma. And a little bit of Alistair. And a little bit of... It's like damage by committee.
Not Lumber, please. I don't...
Do you have a thing against Lumber? I had someone in chat yesterday say Lumber is the most underrated hero in AoV. And I guess we see why. We got the haters coming out in full force in the casting booth.
Give me a scenario that there's not a better hero than Lumber.
If the ally and the opponent are stacked on top of each other, then you can rampage and give a stun and a shield at the same time with one ability. Tell me another hero that can do that.
Well, not Chognar.
Definitely not
Let's
Chognar. Chognar doesn't.
I was just...
Chognar gives neither shields nor stuns. That he's like literally the opposite.
You know what he does? He just slows you and just runs around, man.
That 20,
I love it.
That 20% slow. It's so good.
It's... Well, you have to, stack slow with it.
10 seconds remaining.
With what? Frosty's Revenge? Yeah, that's an item that people don't pick when they pick Chognar support.
But you could.
You could. You definitely could. In fact, I'd say you should, but they don't. Anyway, we have a Vera pickup. For all the talk about Lumber,
All right.
we have a Vera. Vera, you're gonna laugh. Vera is like being looked at. I'm not gonna say she's like getting some play late. She's being looked at as a potential thing. I had Vejos in my chat the other day saying that Vera is actually a thing. I think that people are a bit brainwashed by the multitude of 47% Masters players who just are Vera mains, and they're like, that's a thing. And they played an assassin against her once and they got blown up, and they're like, thinking face. But the biggest deal with Vera, like, yes, she can blow up someone, but that means she needs to get farmed. And she has a very poor early game. Like, she's really good at dueling, but only towards the mid game and late game, mostly late game. She's best at dueling at the worst time to be good at dueling. If you're gonna be good at dueling, you want to be good at dueling in the early game when you actually duel. Whereas in the late game, if she pops her ult, just doesn't hit anyone. Wow, Florentino coming in, just doing a lot of damage versus Kale, which means Kale has to get out of there, and they get the kill onto Xenial instead. Florentino says, I don't discriminate. I'll kill whoever's in front of me. Jay's fan decides to be a bully and take out the monster. Will it confuse people if I actually just read out Florentino's name? His name says Yanamoon in the phonetic alphabet, so there's no like actual meaning. It's like just read it phonetically as Yanamoon. I wonder if people will be confused if I read that or if I say that. Like, who are you talking about? Oh, they did it with the Chinese names, and I didn't even know how to say those. I was just told how to say them. I mean, talking about yesterday.
See, that would confuse me. As a viewer, I think it would just confuse me.
Oh, well, anyway, I'll be as non-confusing as possible. Valor, getting there, backing out. Now Nemo's turn. Now comes the Fusillade. Big damage coming out from Kid, and they all have to back out of there. But now that's over, they get back in. Magic Barrier comes out. Triple stun from Valor. Very well done. Nemo trying to get some damage in as well. VVV's Alistair goes the exact wrong way, and in comes Nemo to finish things off. And I am 002 is I am dead.
Double kill. Triple kill.
Wait, how did Florentino get triple kill there?
I'm not sure.
Like it seemed like he wasn't even like near the heroes who died. He's just like, I'm gonna go ahead and steal these if that's okay with you guys. What a kill stealer. Nemo TV is just under tower. Okay. I was gonna say there's a limit. These in case you didn't know, the tower shots they ramp up in damage. It's not a consistent amount of damage. They go higher and higher if you stand under them. And I was looking at Tara. I think she popped her ult so that she could be on a tower like that. But there's a limit to how many tower shots you can take, and she reached her limit.
They really want that Florentino.
By the way, another thing we didn't mention is Tara is in the Abyssal lane. That is very strange. I mean, it makes sense because they have Florentine in the Darkslayer lane, who's, by the way, getting 5v1 over on the top lane. Oh my goodness. Shut down. Yes, shut down indeed. Made it worth it. 5v1.
Hey, good point. They fixed the spectator mode.
What was fixed?
The kill death.
Ah, yeah. I guess I noticed without noticing that it was noticeable. Anyway, Valor with the charge. Earth Splitter knocks up just Valor, which means they got to get out of there.
I really felt like Florentino was going to do something, but he's dragging Rioma out. Lindis is there. This could be fun.
Lindis with might buff is way stronger than Lindis without might buff. That's what we've learned anything. In comes the ult from Yanamoon. And it doesn't actually land the ult, but it's good enough. It got on the dash. He just wants to be in range. And in range he was.
Yeah, I really like the Valor out of nowhere. Just going to slide in.
Slide into your lane, slide into your DMs. Just slide in anywhere he chooses.
They really want to take Chicken down. Their whole team just hovering over him. I think that's what you don't see of his.
Oh, Nemo!
Oh.
He literally just waltzed up. He did a little bit of dance. Just walked with the dragon. He's like, "Hey guys, how you doing?" And just pretended. It's like Inglorious Blast or just something like just pretending to be part of the enemy team. He's like, "Hey, you guys doing well?" And he just pops his punish and takes the dragon. Valor with the ult. So too is the ult coming out from Florentino here. Xeno tries to get away with his ult, but not going to be enough. He goes down. Justin P is in some trouble. Valor just going to go ahead and take these shots. His passive does get popped, but that's okay. They get the kill for it. Sly in a bit of trouble. Not sure what he was doing so far forward. Valor in trouble as well. Doesn't have his passive anymore. And they got to get out of there. Meanwhile, though, Tara doing Tara things. Which you don't typically see in the Abyssal lane.
It's really a shame that VVV didn't capitalize on that and get more. I mean, they had a lot of momentum moving into that. They got the kill, but I expected that they could have really made more happen than that.
Yeah, they are on 3,000 gold, though, which is a bigger deal in the early game because it's a higher percentage of the amount of gold that you have.
True.
So, yeah. Hard for them to get in there. Let's talk about builds for a second. Hermes Select coming for Alistar. He needs that to be able to jump on people with his magic barrier. Kind of like that. And good night, Valor. Valor probably could have survived that if he has passive, because his passive is nuts. Jade's been trying to fight 1v3 and making it work somehow. Meanwhile, top lane, speaking of outnumbered, Florentino 1v2 misses his Blossom, which means that there could have been a kill on him, I imagine, but they decided to let him go. Lots of split pushing here, which is good times for if you're Sly, because now you get to just sit here and farm, because Vera basically wants to be farming the entire time until she can one-shot people. And yeah, as you can see, her ult's not enough to kill. Here comes Fuselage. Sly taking a lot of damage, has to flicker on out of there. I actually kind of like, speaking of Hermes Select, since we see it on Alistar, I like to have Hermes Select on Vera too, because she needs to kill people, right? So you might as well just run up to them and kill them.
But does it make a substantial difference? I just feel like she's such an immobile character that you're always in danger.
Well,
and once you're in, I mean,
well, the alternative
bonus.
No, but like you can't. It does make a big difference, I would say, because if you're not running up to someone, then you're basically telegraphing that you're running up. And once you telegraph that you're coming up, then they can deal with you. Whereas if you come out of nowhere, then they just die. It makes a huge difference.
Well, I definitely agree with the entry. I just she frustrates me. I've tried to play her, and I see why everyone, like you said, has a 45-ish win rate.
The thing is, like, if in the right game, if you underestimate her, she can start carrying the game. But you'd have to both underestimate her and play bad against her, which, you know, like if you underestimate her but actually just play well and don't let her like get in the game just naturally, then you win anyway. So it's like multiple things have to go right for her to win.
I think you may have mentioned this the couple weeks ago, but Leviathan versus Mantle on Zenio.
Well, he went for both.
But I just feel...
Yeah, he probably has very few stacks. I would agree that if you're talking about whether or not it was smart to get Leviathan, then yeah, he probably has very few stacks there. Pushing in on all towers is the side of YD. They do get Alistair. I don't know if you saw that, but I didn't for sure. Oh wow!
Got him.
In goes Florentino. Oh my goodness, taking so much damage, but does get double shield. Dodges Yoma's shot, and they're continuing to push in here without any minions. Nemo just trying to get onto Kid, realizing that that's one of the major sources of defense. Now trying to push onto this top tower with the minion wave. Valor trying to predict where IM22 is going to go, or IM002 is going to go. What ended up being enough in the end, as Jace Van does take him out again. That Might Buff doing so much work here. So, in the end, they didn't get a high ground tower, but they did actually extend their gold lead, which is kind of strange, considering they only got one more kill. But you can see how annoying VVV's lineup is, between the Fusillade of Caphany and the Matrix of Woe from Alistair. They have a lot of wave clear, and it makes it hard to push in even with the Drake.
What is Florentino doing?
Let's click on him and find out. He's just admiring the scenery.
Oh, there we go. He moved.
I think he's just talking to his team. I mean, he has nowhere else to be. He doesn't want to push in the wave because he wants it to kind of sit there. Because if he pushes in the wave, then he can't take the next wave. They're just waiting for the Darkslayer, it seems like. So yeah, he's gonna go. This is actually good. So he's gonna go ahead and clear this wave now. So that's pushing at the exact moment that Darkslayer comes up, so they can take Darkslayer. But then his team isn't cooperating. KL pops Earth Splitter, which means they could probably go for Darkslayer now. Sly looking to make a play. I'm not sure if it's gonna work against 3, especially as a Vera. This is the problem with Vera. Like, if you were a more dynamic mage. Okay, never mind. I was gonna make a point about Vera and how she can't 1v3 people, but then Zeno decided to step up and say like, "Oh, it's okay. I'll fight her 1v1. Duel's a duel." Jace Fan takes Darkslayer by himself, proving that you can still do so even after Darkslayer was buffed in power.
Oh, but he's doing a crazy amount of damage at this point.
Great Dragon has been summoned, guys.
Didn't they decrease the dragon's damage?
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know what they're doing. Anyway, Valor trying to go in, goes in, takes a magic prison, still alive because he's Thane. He's got the biggest butt of all butts. In comes Florentino, tries to get some damage, and Hercules' Madness passive is popped. Trying to go onto the core here. Top tower does go down. That's 2 high ground towers down. Kale in a bit of trouble. So MVZ, that is not the fountain. I guess he just wants to give his life, but unfortunately had to spam out the magic barrier, which did nothing on the ground. And that means there's very little defense here. Not enough to take out these members. Not enough to take out the minions. And that has to be game GG to YD. I know the core's not dead yet, but this is 1000%. I mean, they're BMing in the fountain. Is this a best of 1 or best of 3?
Well, this is just a scrim to fill.
Yeah.
I still want to try to start the other match at 9.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Are we just cutting this one, or are we gonna play another one?
We'll see if the other guys are ready.
Yeah, so this is why I didn't like the Alistair pick. And the thing is, like, I know maybe they're trying something with the Alistair, because this is obviously an exhibition, but I don't think you get that many opportunities to play Kali and Caphany. So I think you take your opportunities when you can get them to practice, I mean. Because it's not a... It seems easy, you just poke and stuff, but considering how gung-ho the team's going to be about diving the back line, I think it was a good opportunity to practice Kali and Caphany, and so they went for a strategy that makes no sense. Like, you're never going to play this in a real game. So I don't know what the point was here. Sorry to be so critical in an exhibition match, but I feel like even in practice, I feel like they need to practice something that's actually viable. Anyway.
Yeah, that's true. Surprised we didn't see Yuna.
Sly, by the way, most damage. I think it was all of his bush camping the entire time. It's like I got Hecate's diadem, I'm good to go. It's time to kill some fools. Only had 1 kill though. That's the problem with Vera. Literally her entire kit is revolved around killing people, and she had 1 kill.
Huh, I didn't even notice that.
I mean, she gets like pseudo resets on all of her abilities every time she gets a kill. That was a patch from like 4 patches ago or something like that. Actually, more like 6 patches ago.
Alright, let's see. See if we can go ahead and move forward with 9. Which I believe is possible. Yeah, I hate I missed that stream you ran last night.
It's been going on all week. Don't worry. In fact, that stream's gonna... I think it starts right when this stream ends. But I'm not casting that. I'm not gonna do 2 casts in a row. For no money.
Yeah.
That's gonna be on twitch.tv/DominicCats. So he and I have been kind of passing the baton back and forth for that one.
Huh. I will have to check it out.
This is the second time I've seen Caphany building Hercules Madness, even though they took away the lifesteal from Marksman. I feel like maybe the Caphany just gets banned every time, so they didn't get to update their builds or something. But you can't just like... It's just not nearly as good as just going Desical these days. Because you get the shield, but you'd rather just have immunity from dying. Because, I mean, there's more AD on Desticle. You get the CDR too, which is... Oh, no, wait, you don't get CDR. I'm getting, like, items mixed up. But, yeah, it's just better. Because Hercules Madness is not good for... You don't get the lifesteal as a marksman anymore.
Oh yeah, I did read that. So many things in these patches that you don't that you can easily miss
Well, part of
after.
the issue was there were a bunch of streamers who were quote unquote like, or they're reporting on the Taiwan patch, and they were just using Google Translate, and Google Translate didn't properly relay the info. Like, you can't. You gotta be careful with these things, people. You can't just. Or I'm talking to streamers now. You can't just like put up a Google Translate on a YouTube video and talk about it, because there's going to be so many things missed. One time there was an entire parentheses, like 5 words in a parentheses, and Google Translate said, we're just gonna leave that out. I was like, what? And like, I'm like looking at the Chinese, I'm looking at the English, and I'm like, there's an entire parentheses here with like many words in it. And then I look over the English, like there's literally no parentheses. Like, what is going on? And they just left it out. I separated all the words into each word, because I'm not fluent in Chinese. I separated all the words. I'm like, yeah, they just left it out. And if you kind of cut it up more, if you cut up the words or the sentences, when you put in Google Translate, at the actual Google Translate page, not like the auto translate, it will. If you cut up enough words, it'll at some point it will recognize the parentheses. But they didn't take the stuff in the parentheses and put it elsewhere. They just like deleted it. Like, what are you doing? So there's things like that, and anyway, to get back to my point, I know I'm getting in a huge sidetrack. But the for the Hercules Madness, it said something remote. No, damn, it said the word remote, right? And when you're just reading a Google translated thing, you get used to random words being thrown in, and you kind of look for the gist of what they're trying to say. And they're like, oh, they took away lifesteal, and everyone. This Yanamoon person in chat on the side of YD said, "Can you send my shirt in lobby chat?" Anyway, getting sidetracked again. So people just saw lost lifesteal, and they just kind of wrote off the word remote as a random Google Translate word, but that word remote meant ranged heroes. That's what it was trying to translate. So all the streamers who just, and YouTube content creators who just like kind of skimmed over it, and they're like, oh my goodness, no more lifesteal.
Blue team's turn to
This
ban.
Yeah, that's a pretty incredible thing to miss.
Yeah, so I don't know. This is why I spend hours and hours agonizing over this stuff and trying to translate, Jerry. Things like what was it? It was soldier tail. Do you know what the word soldier? If you literally translate it, and by the way, I asked my friend who's fluent in Chinese. I'm like, what the hell is soldier tail? And I copied and pasted the characters, because I can read some Japanese. I can read Japanese, so sometimes I can just decipher the meanings based on what the characters themselves mean. But I asked my Chinese friend as well, and she's like, I have no idea what the heck that means. So what do you think that soldier tail means?
I can't even explicate an idea from that.
I was agonizing over this so much. I Googled it, and I came up on a YouTube video that luckily had English. There was someone speaking in English, and they had Chinese subtitles. And so it was last hitting minions.
Blue team's turn to ban.
So the soldier is the minion, and the tail, I guess, is like last, because at the tail end, right? So it's like basically. Luckily, I was able to Google it and find a YouTube video that exactly had subtitles which matched the translation. And it's weird things like these where you're just like, oh. And obviously, the Google Translate is never going to get that correct. So.
Oh yeah, but it's crazy how much understanding you think you might get out of something from Google Translate, that especially in stuff like this, when you're talking about patch notes and stuff, that it's going to butcher and change your whole the whole scope of what that sentence means.
Yeah, exactly. That's why when I translate it and put it onto d2aov.com, I'm very careful about making sure it's correct. Whereas, I don't know, it just frustrates me when people are lazy and they just... Because the thing is, even Casey Fox was just using the Google Translate. And I don't think he was actually on the Garena site. I think he was using something that was copy-pasted over. But it's like, dude, Casey Fox, aren't you fluent in Chinese? Could you just tell us? Could you just actually translate it for us? Especially as someone who might know what soldier tail means. Like, come on.
He could have helped the entirety of NA.
Yeah, and he probably got a link to some... Like, because people try to take credit, right? So they'll just take the Google Translate, and they'll, like, copy and paste it to the website, and they'll be like, look, I translated it. And they'll try to take credit. And I guess Casey Fox probably looked at that and was like, no, just go to Greta. Come on.
Yeah, I've seen a lot. Actually, yesterday and today, I've seen a lot of like patch notes of stuff that's coming up, and you read it and you see words that are not in the right place, and I immediately just stop reading, and I'm like, yeah, I was gonna retweet this, but now I'm just gonna put my phone down and go watch TV. But then I give it a couple more days, and my buddy at d2aov.com posts most of this information for you. It's actually super helpful.
Oh, yeah. Thanks. I mean, I really enjoy what that D2 guys does. Anyway, I haven't done the most recent small patch at Taiwan. I know it's there, but I don't know. I'm just like mad at the world. I'm like, why are you releasing a tiny patch like literally like less than a month after the most recent patch came out? I'm just like, can you guys just calm down for a moment? I don't know. This is me just boycotting. I'm like, I'll get you the patch later. Let me just work on my tier list, which I've been writing for like 3 weeks now. Anyway, sorry.
So Richter.
First pick Richter. What a world we live in. Yorn Baldum is interesting because usually it's hard to pick Yorn unless you have Teamy, but they'll try to make it work. Yorn is like decent as a situational hero. He can kind of be like a Tell in a way. He actually does more damage than Tell, but he needs to land all of his passives onto the enemy, which, if they move a little bit, you don't land all of it. And also, he's more mobile because he has to stand there while he's shooting his passive, whereas Tell can just kite and still do a ton of damage. So he's very situational that way, but if he can get his damage off, he does, I think, the most damage in the game, though I'd have to check that. Anyway.
And situational, for all you kids at home, means every diamond match that you play.
Every single one.
Tell me about the Scud thing. Like, what do you see Scud doing in this? Why?
Well,
why?
He's playing against Richter, so maybe they feel like they can kind of deal with Richter. Though I feel like it's the exact opposite. Like, I'm starting so much. Equal level Richter, equal level Scud. I think that Richter wins. So this might be just like a stylistic or like a kind of style on you hero pick where like I can beat you with Scud because Scud's my main or something. I don't know. It's not. My answer is it's not very good. It's just like he probably is a Scud main, and he's like he played Richter before and beat Richter, but it's not a winning matchup if that's what you want to hear.
And this is probably information that everyone needs to hear, so I'm just going to ask you, someone who studies the game.
Oh wait. By the way, this is game 2, right? Question mark?
This is game 2.
Okay, I was getting confused for a second. I thought I'd be going to the next series. I am completely out of it. So, I mean...
No, this is going to be the final of this scrim. Again, Psychotics forfeited, so VVV will move to the next round.
Okay, so that answers a lot of our questions. That answers a lot of our questions. They're just messing around.
The red team you will see more of very, very soon in the next series where they're actually competing.
Yeah, so the reason why they're picking Scud and Yorn and Maganga is because they don't want to show anything in the next round. / they're just messing around. So, and this is an
Probably.
exhibition, so that's what exhibitions are for, to show some crazy play with some crazy heroes that you wouldn't normally see. This makes a lot more sense because I was getting confused.
10 seconds remaining.
All right. So, team versus team, who wins this on an even playing field?
I mean, VVV easily. They actually have a normal lineup. Alice Lindis is a good combo because Lindis gets to just like dart around everywhere.
Arena of Valor.
And then Kali just gets to flood damage from the back while Richter's being annoying in the front. Same thing with Tara. Looks like they do have Richter bot. So I'm curious. Okay, YD does not switch their DS and Abyssal. This might be rough sledding for Yorn going against Richter. Yep. IM02 tries to go in on bottom, get some damage, but misses the second strike. Though the first strike does a lot more damage, especially against tanks. KL trying to help out against Yorn.
Lindis does get last hit, so she does get the stack. But that's gotta be frustrating
For YD?
for the Lindis trying to clear a wave. She didn't get a lot of help. She was able to get the stacks, but it kind of throws you off your play.
Well, as long as you get it, you're fine. I'm wondering why O02 is being so passive. He only has to deal with the Yorn. There's no Ballum anywhere. He's seen Ballum mid. I feel like I'm O02 is like going out of his way to prove me wrong. He's like, I'll show you how to not beat a Yorn as a Richter in lane. Because honestly, it's a nightmare. Like if Yorn's standing in the middle of the lane like this, he should be just taking jungle strikes up the butt. And yeah, he's not. He's perfectly jungle strikeless in his nether regions.
Yeah, he's not even.
O02 hasn't even tried to jump on him. And it's not like if he jumps on him and screws up, he dies. He has retaliate. Like there's no. Oh my god! O2's used his ult. Okay, I am sorry. I'm just gonna look away. I feel like this is a mercy jump away, cut away. We're not gonna look at O02 anymore. He already used his ult, so I mean, he can't really help in this team fight all that much. I mean, he can because he's Richter, but he's not gonna just jump on the back line. Sly taking a lot of damage. Has to flicker away. Nemo gets some damage in. As Yorn.
Still there. I feel like Alice could have popped that bush. Oh.
Yeah, and here comes Jade's fan. He's probably going to go down now. Although MV misses the pool, Valor, he dies purposely in order to make sure that his team stays alive. Here comes the second ult from O2. He's going to die to the tower, so that is a trade. But yeah, that was the death for Valor was kind of Jay's fan fault. He jumped in and had to get saved. Meanwhile, speaking of being out of position, Scud dies. you gotta transition, okay? I started.
Oh, Scud.
I mean, yeah. You just gotta make sure you say the right words at the right time. Anyway. Jade's fan misses a horn rush over the wall. Was caught right on camera. What a noob. Finally, IM02 is making stuff happen. Now he dies again to the tower! Oh my goodness. He is not doing well with his retaliates. You gotta not take damage from the tower, my boy. My buddy. MV surprisingly was So I guess Valor wasn't under the tower, so therefore the tower didn't aggro onto MV, even though he was doing damage to him. Kind of a fun fact: if you're damaging someone, but the opponent isn't actually under the tower, you don't take tower shots.
Sly in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, that's why Magonga isn't good. It's kind of like he's kind of like oh, that was an interesting ult coming out from Scott as he died. He's kind of like Vera, except if Vera had to stand around for like 8 more seconds in order to kill someone. Now, to be fair, he has a lot more sustained damage than Vera. So, like Vera, once she pops her wad, she's gonna not be able to do anything afterward because she has no cooldowns, whereas Magongo can just literally auto. Plus, he has shorter cooldowns, so he has more utility. But the point is, he needs to kind of be in a fight for a long time to make anything happen, and that's not what you want from your mage.
Yeah.
Well, prison on MV. Nice ult from Alice. So the reason why Valor wasn't able to charge immediately was because he was silenced. I know that feeling all too well. You're trying to use an ability like, what's happening? My game's broken. Oh, wait. Freaking Alice. Yorn's dead again, probably. Does he get kill? Does not get kill. Kill uses heal. She's fine. Meanwhile, Scud versus Tara. Pops ult. Tries to go back in. Here comes Jace Fan. Can Justin P live? Nope, cannot. These ethereal pulses are just doing so much damage. Maybe this is what I was talking about. He should have picked Kali last game. Anyway, maybe he's so good at Kali that he didn't need the practice. Because I was railing on it because I thought they needed the Kali Caphane synergy practice. But MV's like, nah. I'll just show you. I don't need practice. I'm so good this year. It doesn't matter. Jace Fan is dead. Gave up on life. 4K gold aid for VV. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I feel like Yorn is at a crossroads in his life. He's trying to figure out where to be and what to do.
if I'm Yorn,
everywhere he goes, there's murder.
Well, the problem is
play into his favor.
The problem is no one on the team is mobile, and the funny thing is, weirdly enough, the immobility of the team is making Baldum seem more immobile as well, because his team is always in trouble, and he's always like he's not mobile enough to get them out of trouble. If that makes any sense. Whereas if his team is more dynamic, then he can make more plays, right? Because they're kind of the other team is more focused on them, and he can kind of come in and get a nice wild charge. Like the fact that his team lacks dynamism, I think that's like a weird thing. You know, is part of the reason why Bottom's so good now is because there's so many dynamic heroes that are in the meta. That might be the reason.
Well, they did a good bit of restructuring after the original.
Yeah, I mean they lowered the cooldown on his ult. They lowered the cooldown on his first ability. They gave more damage to his 2. They gave more resistance to his 2. These are all patches in like succession, by the way. They're not all one patch. Then
the minion thing where it just does
more damage on
his damage to minions.
Yeah, more damage on his 2 to minions. They gave a slow on his ult. This is the first good team fight from them, by the way. Lots of damage coming down. Scud does go down in the end. Nemo TV is trying to make something happen, and he's dying to a Kali, which is a sad sight. He's trying to
auto attack Kali, by the way. Just auto attack.
Yeah, but you know, Kali does a lot of damage from auto attacks. Meanwhile, the kid wasn't even in that fight. Flicker charge forward. Kid, is he gonna die? Doesn't take the last shot, which means he's fine. Valor might die for it anyway. Kid dies too, though. Managed to get the ace before he died. So yeah, getting a shutdown like that is actually a lot of gold. That might help Whitey get back into this game. I think Nemo TV needs to stop trying to kite and start just shooting because Yorn doesn't kite. That's not what he does. He just shoots. Like the best way for Yorn to stay alive is to kill the other guy before he dies.
Yeah, that is the one reason I've never been able to really understand Yorn. because I just feel like it's counterintuitive to be a marksman and have to stand in one spot.
Well, he does do basically the most damage in the game if he is able to get up. Like he actually does burst damage. He's one of the only. I mean, I guess other marksmen can do burst damage, but he's the only one who can literally like 100 to 0 someone in like less than a second if he gets his shots off.
Good ult by Baldwin.
No follow up though. Sly. I think Sly wants me to look at him because he's B-stepping in his own base. So the opposing team can't see him do that. So I think he wants me to look at him. So I gave him his moment in the sun. Valor's gonna die. Sly kind of messing around. More B-stepping. I see you, Sly. You're on TV. Don't worry. See, you see Envy there taking a lot of damage just on the edge of the fierce shot from Nemo. Imagine if he actually had, you know, a near or like a halfway built build. By the way, I don't recommend Fafnir's talent at all on Yorn because they specifically nerfed it for him. They actually nerfed it for Hayate too before Hayate came out. So there is this weird. There is a change to Fafnir's that probably everyone just ignored, which happened like 3 or 4 patches ago, where the passive can only go off every 0.3 seconds, which normally doesn't affect anyone except if you're Yorn and now Hayate. So, yeah, that's part of the reason why you picked Fafnir's talent in the first place is because you just burst someone down because you get the passive off a million times in a row, but that's not the case anymore.
But, well, I guess I never really thought about that. I remember seeing it, but then I just moved on with my life and continued to
you're like something that only affects Yorn? But yeah, it does affect Hayate too. Anyway, nice pickup or a nice scoop from Valor. MV's not going to kill him this time with the ults. Yeah, he does get away. So barely holding on is YD.
But still, the MV has done a fantastic job on the Kali, just in general. I say that because I've been playing her a good bit recently.
So you can tell a good Kali when you see one now.
I respect the ult because I'm not hitting it. That's what that is.
Oh wow, that was a punish to kill the Yorn from Justin.
What are you doing?
Oh, he's still alive. He's still alive. He was literally behind the core. Used the punish to kill the Yorn. Got out of there. Sly's gonna go on 0-2. Jade's fan's in trouble. Nice drone drop to get out of the sunshine from Alice.
Yeah.
Vivi's kid trying to make something, trying to get in the core now. Here comes the Drake. Ah!
Drake.
Scud. Oh no. See,
was there another person? I'm not sure.
Well,
I saw the Cricknack and then I just saw blood behind him.
You know what's funny is the Tara in an extremely indirect way saved the Lindis there. You know why?
How?
Because Tara has lots of healing, which means that Scud first built Death or Curse of Death, which means that he had a shitty item.
True.
Which means that he wasn't able to kill the Lindis because if he had a better item like Rank Breaker, he would have killed her. So in an extremely roundabout way, Tara saved Lindis' life there. And that is the power of Tara. You force out Curse of Death, it's only good against you, it's not good against anyone else. You know, I had a game when I was playing Tara, and I was forcing 5 people over to my lane like the entire game. And not only that, but 3 people on the opposing team bought Curse of Death / Tome of the Reaper. And so
wow.
I couldn't fight like 1v5 anymore. and no one else on my team had like healing properties, and I was literally and like my team ended up losing because they literally got nothing done when I was fighting 1v5 and distracting the entire team for like minutes at a time. And not only that, but I was like furiously typing in chat like, please do something. And so not only am I like attracting the entire team over, but I'm doing so while typing. Anyway, it was not a happy time. It's the worst feeling in the world when they counter purchase items just for you, and by doing so, their build is terrible against everyone else, and yet it still works because your team can't do anything. That's a bad feeling, guys. Yeah, I think I agree with chat, by the way, that not picking Vera was the reason why they lost.
True.
You got to pick Vera.
Without that,
That was where
I
they
just
went.
I can't even talk about it. It's like I believe that Tara is the worst hero in the game, and I would say Vera is just as bad.
Tara is the worst hero in the game?
I just believe it.
Okay. Is that you just being? I don't even know.
No, it's I've played
She's
her
because
a
she's
bit.
annoying.
It's like the easier Arthur. Like, how do you? I mean, all you have to do is build an item, and you can beat her on a lot of heroes.
No, I think you're talking about the old Tara. New Tara beats almost anyone in lane these days.
It's been a long time since I've played her, so that may be true.
Yeah, she wins almost every matchup, except for like Florentino maybe. But yeah, even when everyone thought she was bad, including me, there was a guy who would post on my website, d2av.com. Gotta say it. I forgot what team he's on actually. Shyster Nick. I think he's on YD actually. But he was just owning people with the old Tara, the non-buff Tara. And I was like, you may have a point here. Because he was playing her in the way she was meant to be played, which you basically stay around 30% health and you just burst people down.
To ban.
But my thought process was just pick Yoma and have just a bursty hero with a full health pool. But he was able to make it work, especially because you kill people and then you survive using your ult or just have the healing. But after they increased her healing even more, it made her even harder to kill and even more lethal because she could be even lower and still be okay in fights and stuff like that. Also, the Mantle of Raw change helped her most of all. Well, not most of all, but like it helps her quite a bit. Yeah, etc. She beats everyone in lane. And honestly, I already have her listed as tier 1 in my tier list, but people have been like so gung ho about her lately that I might have to move her up to tier S. But I still think she's situational, where like she doesn't help a team fight as much as other heroes. She can only really split push, so I still have her in the quote unquote situational tier 1. Anyway, we have a game.
True. My hate for Tara over the last year and a half aside, Linda's ban out of the gate and Liliana. So we finally got a change in the bans. I don't know how to feel about this.
Who are our teams, by the way? We have YD on the right.
Third wheel is the team on the left.
Third wheel. Don't want to be the third wheel. Why would you pick a name that people don't want to be?
That I do not know. But this is one of the newer teams that popped up after the big push for teams for Valor series. I've not seen them play very much, but they have been very interested in moving into our tournaments. So this is their their first time.
Darcy being hovered here. Darcy has fallen out of favor. He's still picked, but he's more of like a situational choice. And yeah, Tulin's much
As
more.
we see here.
Yeah, Tulin's much more in line with what pros are picking these days, especially early in drafts. And
Okay.
why do you? This might be just them trolling them. It's like, you didn't pick Darcy, now we have Darcy, and just trying to make them feel bad about it, even though it's not necessarily like the best pick. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with picking Darcy here, but I just feel like this is kind of a troll. They do go for it.
To pick.
One interesting thing is that both Teamy and Baltimore are available, so it kind of behooves both teams to pick it here before they get banned in the next phase. I do not think, I was going to say, I do not think that Wukong needs to be picked at this stage. And Yoma is definitely a much more coveted hero, and definitely could be banned out in the ban phase, so it's perfectly fine. I'd really like to see a Baltimore or a Teamy here, or something. Basically,
Not a Violet.
yeah, because Violet, again, you don't want to be picking heroes that you can just get in the next phase.
Red team's turn to pick.
Also seems a little senseless to pick a jungle.
Well,
since
no,
they
look-
have a jungle.
Well, no, I mean, Noah's probably going to go side lane, and Nakroth can definitely be banned in this next phase, so I'm okay with this. Basically, like,
Are you that high on Necroth?
Team's turn.
yeah, Nakroth is very much like considered one of the top junglers now.
Post Zane Necroth videos?
No,
That's what it is.
no, it's that you got the chicken and egg mixed up. He started doing Nakroth videos because Nakroth is in the meta, and he wanted to learn how to play Nakroth.
Yeah, fair enough. I, as the worst jungler on the North American server, they all just look like jungle to me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're asking good questions because I take these things for granted, and not all chat knows these things, like the exact like precision of the meta. So
I mean, I see him doing well, but I also see people jumping into fights they can't win regularly, and I question his utility just in general when I see that many mistakes.
well,
with the same character.
he is considered one of the hardest heroes in the game for a reason, and it makes it even harder to play him these days because you have to basically build full damage. He did get nerfed, and it's for people who don't play Necroth, they look at it and are like, really, that's it? Because it's only the enhanced attack on his second ability. But it's actually a big deal. If you watch Necroth players play, they really rely on that enhanced auto, and it has a massive range, does tons of damage to towers, and it's kind of like all like the advanced Necroth players like fit it into whenever they do like their combos, for instance. Like I saw like Necroth running away, and normally you'd think like if you're trying to run away as fast as possible, you go dash 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 and just get out of there. But he made sure to fit in that enhanced auto attack. And, like as he's running away, he's like dash auto dash dash. But yeah. So yeah. Anyway, the point of Necroth is kind of like if you compare him to Kriknak, you're giving up a little bit of damage for more mobility. So Necroth is really good at 150ing someone or 50-0 someone. Like if you get like a nice snipe off from Elsie or something, Necroth will finish him off and run away. Whereas if you're a Kriknak, you have to use your drone drop to get in. You maybe don't get away, right? So if you want to just kill someone from 100, you go Kriknak. If you have a team that kind of is good at flitting in and out, like Tulin here, Tulin can chunk someone down, or and Necroth can finish him off, or vice versa. Necroth chunks someone down and Tulin uses the Thunderbird to finish him off. So Necroth and Tulin have decent synergy. The only problem is that they're both fragile. So you saw in our first series of the day when that got him into trouble because they couldn't really safely dive the back line. By the way, we had a huge run on supports in the second band phase. And
So
a
the weight. Oh my God! Please pick him. Just do it. He's not going to. Oh yes.
Got to counter the Gilder.
They're gonna prove you wrong. The Chognar. The one time he's useful after you've been hating.
You know what? He could weirdly be useful in this game just by like bumbling around and doing nothing. Because if you dive, if you dive the backline at the same time that Necroth and Tulin dive the backline, you could inadvertently take a lot of shots from like Telenos and Darcy as they're trying to hold off Tulin and Necroth. So you could just kind of just be there and be like a bumbling elephant idiot and still like be helpful towards your team. So it's not. He actually could be useful here, is what I'm trying to say, I suppose.
He's immune to Superman pushbacks. I mean,
Not necessarily, because if you use Energy Surge, then Superman may miss one, but if Superman pops his ult, then he can get multiple off. I think Superman's ult also lasts longer than Chognar's Chaos Protection. So if they both pop at the same time, Superman will still have a couple pushbacks available.
I just mean from his one.
Right, but that requires Chognar to preemptively use Energy Surge. And if he uses Energy Surge, then he stands in the same spot, which allows Superman to guaranteed get the damage off. So, I don't know.
But he's an elephant. I'm not gonna win this, am I?
I don't know. I just... if you're only protecting yourself, then you're not doing your team any services.
Well, it's not always about them.
If you're a support, it's about your team, like all the time. Oh, we have a Superman jungle. What the hell?
Huh? Oh yeah.
Why did they do this?
I'm gonna stop talking about Chognar because we missed some really strange stuff.
They're being weird because they could have. They didn't need to do this. Because they could have easily gone Darcy jungle, Gilder mid, which is weird. I mean, it's weird to have Gilder mid, but because you already have a mage in the jungle, it's fine. And then they could just put Superman side, or actually support. Yeah, Superman would have been support in that situation, which is not too bad. Superman just knocked out his own Might Golem, but it's okay because Darcy has ridiculous damage, so it's fine. It's perfectly fine. Yeah, so Superman should have been support in this comp, but they went Superman jungle, which is very weird. I think they're just trolling, and that's very sad if you are third wheel.
Yeah, that's Yugen Dynasty.
Yeah, no, they're trolling, so that's they're trolling on to third wheel.
Sorry.
Oh, stolen away. No, it wasn't stolen away. Nemo TV got in the end. What? I swear that tactical fire killed the seagull. Never mind. By the way, this is the server's best Yoma, according to the starting screen, so it's interesting. Jace fan. Apparently a little bit rusty on the Superman.
He's done.
Oh, goodness. Big jump onto the entire team of YD, and 3 go down. Go ahead.
I spoke too soon. Superman had a line where he was getting ready to rush in and shoot some laser beams, and Nakaroth jumped out, and everything immediately fell apart just because Nakaroth moved. I don't know. I just...
Oh my goodness, the frostbite from Superman able to take out Necroth. Never think about that when you're playing against the Superman. So he did the jump, got the knockback, and got the little icy breath as well as the punish. And finishes him off nicely. Honestly, okay. This is I keep thinking about this. I'm like, maybe they decide this was the best option, but there I can think of 3 configurations that are better than this. Like you could have gone Tel mid, you could have gone Gilder side lane, and you could have had Superman be support. You could have had Superman, or you could have had Superman side lane. I don't know. You could have had Kyle. You could have had Darcy support in a like kind of a Joker role.
Yeah.
Like there's so many things you could have done with this that doesn't involve Superman being the jungle. But I don't know. For one way, Superman's bad in the jungle. By the way, like he doesn't. His abilities don't kill monsters very quickly. So he's gonna take a long time to be clearing, which is not time that you're ganking or even farming very quickly. His second ability literally does no damage unless you're in flight mode, and if you're in flight mode, you'd rather just use your laser beam. And if you're not flying, then you're doing less damage to the minions as well. But in order to fly, you need to walk around for a little bit. So he's just terrible at clearing waves or clearing monsters.
Yeah. I feel like that's just them overthinking Superman's role as a roaming hero.
Well, didn't they just like insta pick him later on? Maybe they were trying to select someone else, but they screwed up, and they just went because they picked him so fast that it seemed like they picked him by accident. Maybe like they're trying to pick someone else, and he was right next to Superman, and they pressed like enter immediately.
And then they decide to go to Darcy to drop jungle? No, this is the weirdest plan.
It's possible that Valor can't play Superman, or maybe Dave doesn't even own Superman. You know, that might be it. Maybe Valor doesn't own Superman at the support. Anyway, this has not been a good team fight for YD. I don't even know how to to play this one. They're just getting beaten up. And all said though, finally some progress being made up top lane. Looks like this tower might go down. Tones can make something happen. Tries to clear the minion wave. I think that was the wrong decision. Probably should have gone on to Florentino. Florentino now ults on to Yoma. Can he get this kill? That was a beautiful Wailing Blade. Chunked Florentino completely down. By the way, has gone for mostly or all damage at this point. And good night. Legendary for the Yoma. He already has legendary. That is a 701 Yoma. Server's best Yoma indeed.
Well, we're almost at 6 minutes. He's had a lot of time.
Plenty of time.
Yeah.
And he's been fighting against Florentino too. Usually Florentino, you're hiding behind tower, you're like lacking in gold, but he has certainly not been lacking. 5k gold at the moment. Invade coming out here. I'm not sure that's the best idea. Down 3,000 gold. In comes the Exuberance. Or the Exultance, whatever. Jay's fan does go down in the end. So too does Sly. Valor is not long for this world either. And I'm not sure why they needed to do that. Seems like an unnecessary course of action.
Are they trolling themselves? Like,
Well, Florentino's going to try to 1v2. And there's no Dioma here, so maybe he can make it happen. Oh. Oh. Hello?
It's a very... Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, Superman.
As Superman just one-shots the Necroth from half health. So, that was not very good if you are third wheel.
You know, with the difference in kills, there's the difference in towers, the difference in dragons.
Oh, they're going for
up.
They're going for
a
Darkslayer.
lot. Oh, okay.
Sly's low though. Oh my goodness, this Darkslayer doing so much damage. MVP Darkslayer. Oh my god.
Hitman going
Florentino
down.
is. Oh, that was. Oh no!
Oh, they need to
so
kill
low.
it right.
That was an amazing zoom by Valor though, slowing down the Chognar. Chognar probably should have popped ult right then and there in order to get out of it, in order to help out with the killing of the Darkslayer, but they were too slow on the take. And now they're going to go ahead and be able to use this Darkseer potentially. They're only down, down 4,000 gold. But they can maybe start to come back here. And that was a big oversight if you're third wheel. Especially if you're Chogner, you can just get in there. That's literally what he's good at, is not getting stunned out. And he let himself get stunned out. Florentino fighting multiple heroes. But he is against the Yoma. And that's not someone you want to be fighting at this situation.
Yeah.
Like, literally, Yoma's the one person you can't fight. Yoma, by the way, has already picked up Fenrir's Tooth. So he's going to be doing ridiculous damage. It's an interesting pickup, actually, because a lot of times you go for more damage when you're ahead. So you can snowball the game harder. But it's particularly good in this case because you want to be able to finish off Florentino when he's low. Otherwise, Florentino can do some crazy stuff. It's like the better version of, like, Desticle. Or not Desticle, excuse me. Curse of Death. Like, Curse of Death, you just get rid of the healing that Florentino could have. But instead, you just go for an item that has the most damage in the game. And instead of just waiting for them to heal, you just kill them. Slime misses on the Dimensional Walk. Bush Party here for third wheel. Nemo does have some decent farm built up. So he can get some work done. Blitzblade into Claves into nearly completed Bow of Slaughter.
Huh. Well, the Ryoma is there. I feel like they spent way too much time on the red team preparing for what looked like a team fight and then splitting up at the end anyway. Now,
Yoma.
third wheel is together and they're rotating on the split team.
James trying to get away. Nice ult from Nemo, but he's caught in the middle of three. I don't think he's alive, and he doesn't. Corn's taking him up. Prince P, extremely low. Oh, the ult comes in from Florentino, misses.
Nice.
Tones doesn't even take damage from Darcy right now. Sly is trying to get something done. Nice exuberance from the Gilder. Sly is just trying to hold on. Trying to go through these towers. Going to the bottom. No, he's trying. Like, he's trying to get executed, I think. He's trying to get executed. And does. Just to deny the gold. Although I don't know. I mean, he's 0-4-1. He's going to give them like 20 gold. It's not I don't think it's a big deal to get executed. I think you're better off trying to stay alive and just distract them for a little longer. Muramasa comes out for Violet. I don't know if you guys know this, but if you have both Rank Breaker and Muramasa, the raw pierce is calculated first and then the percentage pierce, so you get less. The end result is you get less out of your raw pierce. So Rank Breaker ends up just being like 130 pierce, barely more than National Spear, if you have both those items. And it makes sense to build Muramasa like at the end of the game if you've built like Rank Breaker first, because eventually you're going to need to just cut through the opposing like tanks. But it makes like literally 0 sense here for the Valet because the other team doesn't even have that much armor in the first place. In fact, he's doing so little pierce because of the Muramasa pickup. So that might be a way for Why to get back in this game, just relying on the fact that Violet isn't really utilizing her gold to the fullest. Although she's going to get crits every single time, that might change things.
Man, this Ryoma is great.
It is the server's best Yoma.
That doesn't always indicate fact.
Hey. Server's best Yoma. It's got the little insignia and everything. That was an interesting ult from Valor. Probably misclick, mistap. By the way, Jay's fan going for almost all damage other than Odin's Will here. So he's not the most tanky Superman. Oh my goodness. I love how... So the Chognar has the Aegis. So he's basically like a walking slow. Just by standing there. You see Sly got the dimensional cube off. And I think like the Chognar may have purposely eaten that just to be like, ha, I took damage, but you're slowed now. Florentino been in some trouble. Tracking the entire team though, which may allow Whitey to get some stuff done on the opposite side of the map. Chognar kill stealing because he's a meanie. How do you even kill steal as Chognar when you do 0 damage? That's like a huge paradox.
Has one. You can steal Dragon with that. You can steal Slayer. Great.
No, I think it's possible. How can you steal something by doing 0 damage? It's just a paradox.
He does more than
anomaly.
0 damage.
That's not what I see. Nemo trying to heal back up. Has the boa slaughter. Oh my goodness. Nemo popping off. Nearly goes down, but he's still alive. And that is the kill on Nyoma. That is massive. It's his first death of the game. Nyoma by himself gives 700 gold for that kill because of how much bounty was built up. And now YD are back in the game. That was huge, the fact that Nemo stayed alive through all of that. And he was extremely low too. He had like 10% health. And Jacevan just killed the the Necroth. But yeah, the Nemo 10% health went from 10 to 60, back to 30, back to 100. By the way, even though Valor is the support, he's doing a lot of damage because he's building mostly damage on his hero, other than the halfway built Ring of the Fiend. Now getting into a bit of a fight here. There is the ult coming out. Lots of damage. Nemo is popping off again, but isn't able to stay alive this time. Jade's fan has to deal with Oleg, the murderous elephant, and that is the exact opposite of what we just saw.
He's 2-0.
Jay's been trying to make something happen. Misses, though. That's a huge deal. That's a lot of damage he missed up. But there comes a Florentino to pick things up. There's a 2v3 fight that started. And there is Florentino finishing it off.
Nice
he is still alive. Minions in the top lane. I think Necroth may be able to finish off by himself. Florentino needs to get back. He needs to not worry about this high ground tower. That is just game.
That was good.
The definite MVP of that game was the Dioma. Necroth, however, being able to finish it off at the end. That's why he picked Necroth. One of the best split pushers in the game. Although he had a lot of help because the minions were already at the core. 34% damage from the Dioma. Oh my goodness. He's just beasting. So we found the situation in which Chognar can win. It's when the opposing team decides to go Superman jungle. We found the situation.
I knew it was possible. He did get 2 kills.
Those were all kill steals, and you know it. There was literally a 5v1, and he's like, I'm taking this one. So, our Ryoma Tones. He has Evos next to his name, which is a Southeast Asian esports organization in Indonesia and Thailand and perhaps elsewhere. Question: is Tones actually part of Evos?
I actually don't know.
You also have a player with a TH in brackets around their name. So, this could be like the all Southeast Asian team invading America.
It's sneaky. Maybe they'll get all their friends to watch it on YouTube.
We can overtake America.
Hey, just for that, premier-gaming.com, d2aob.com.
I think that they're a bit confused. You gave the lobby ID so quickly that they asked about the lobby. They're like, "Where's the lobby ID?" It's like, it's already here. It was here the entire time.
Yeah.
Whitey's really having a hard time getting in this lobby. Come on, guys. It's right there.
I mean, I did invite one of their team members from my friends list. I was hoping that would expedite the process.
No, it's impossible. There we go. Everyone's in there, except one some person said, "Hold on." They're holding on. We're holding on. Hopefully, YD can pick a normal lineup this time, and hopefully we can catch on to do if they're doing weird things instead of going off on tangents.
Okay.
We're holding on.
Is he popping in and out of the lobby for you?
I'm in the lobby.
No, but well, the one guy was in, then he was out, then he was in, then
Yeah.
just.
Is he? Are you saying he's trying to just elicit a response from me?
I was thinking, but maybe not. Finally, are we ready?
Let's just go. Force him in the game.
Ready? 1, 2, 3, go.
Blue team's turn
All right.
to ban.
I believe that for this ban phase, we should talk about the draft ban.
No, it's impossible.
Red team's turn to
That
ban.
I think Yanamoon, which is how you say the person's name in the top left, that was a message to his own teammate. We're not picking Superman this game.
Blue team's turn to ban.
I'm liking the Lindis target ban here
Red team's
because
turn
Jace fan
to
definitely
ban.
shown that he can play Lindis really well, and it threw him off so hard that last game that he ended up playing Superman.
I'm hoping we get a little bit more normal of a team composition, because I feel like
To pick. Red
that entire match did not show us anything about that team at all.
Yep. It was just so hard to get anything done because, first of all, they had like weird anti-synergy with the knockbacks from Superman not coinciding with the ults from Gilder. Gilder not being a good support to begin with. Superman not being suited to the jungle at all. Darcy being, not his natural role, which is usually in the jungle. And yeah, it just kind of fell apart for them. The funny thing is you saw Tell and Florentino just continuously stay in their lanes. And they're like, you guys do whatever you want. We're going to just get a farm here. they were just like a 3-man roaming team of Superman, Gilder, and Darcy, which like was the most unsynergistic team. And they predictably got near like nothing done.
Yeah, I think it would have been a little more realistic to get rid of the Ryoma.
Yeah, very true. Very true. They went for the Tulin ban, but I don't know if they saw it last game, but it was like right there, the insignia. He is the number one Ryoma on server and went nuts that game. Maybe take away the comfort pig. Especially because like Ryoma is enough in the meta that it's not crazy to ban him in general. Anyway, because Hayate and Cavani weren't banned, they were first picked here. Teamy, not surprising. I would like to see Zerbiel go for Baldum here. They're taking their time though, and they do go for Baldum.
Team's turn to ban.
The nice thing about picking Baldum, other than he's good, is that like you can really take your draft in a multitude of directions. So if it both fulfills having a good hero and not leading your draft in a specific direction, and leaves you able to counter what they're doing. So we have in chat that Tons only plays Yoma. So, which further
How do the
Enforces the idea.
Eastern teams feel about Flash?
Flash has a weird bug right now where his ult, the direction of his ult doesn't appear on the opposing team's screen. So on your screen, it looks like you're just moving normally, whereas on their screen, it looks like he's going on some random direction, and the last second he flickers to you. Or at least that's what it looks like on their screen. So he's kind of bugged. They're really high on him these days. I'm not sure why, other than the bug, but
Team's turn.
I think there's just like a lot of situations where there's a lot of poke because marksmen are really strong, and because bursty assassins are in the middle as well. Flash can kind of deal with both, but kind of being the operative word.
Red team's turn to pick.
I feel like for at least a short period of time, everyone was high up on him just because of his ability to dive, and it's still a very necessary thing to do. But I haven't seen enough of it in NA anyway for me to have any opinion. And a couple weeks ago, I was watching live streams on Facebook. It seemed like every single match, and it was an Eastern streamer, and it seemed like every single match was Flash, and it's like I missed something somewhere.
People jump on the bandwagon very quickly. So once you start seeing a hero gain popularity, everyone's like, oh, let's just play that hero again. And because he was played so much earlier, everyone had experience playing him. So it was very easy for everyone to just jump on the bandwagon rather than, unless a hero is super duper meta, you don't see people immediately jump on. because they need some practice to get on him. But because he's a hero that was previously good, most people who are in the top ranks had experience with him. One of the things about Flash is that once they nerfed once they allowed for people to stun him during his dash, that slowly started to take him out of the meta. But now they're kind of discovering that he can be good when he's diving. Especially because like a lot of poke heroes these days, like if you're playing a poke mage like Kali or something, there's no like repercussions for him jumping in, mock punching you, and jumping out. He's just gonna deal more damage to you than you're gonna deal to him. So a lot of times when you pick Flash, it's against a hero that really can't punish you for jumping in. If there is a hero that can punish you for jumping in, like an Alistair, then you typically don't want to pick Flash. But I would say the biggest thing about like Flash, like it's kind of it's almost like a placebo effect, like a self-fulfilling prophecy kind of, where if people believe the hero is good, they'll play better on him, and therefore he ends up being good. If that makes any sense?
No, you're right. I mean, if you feel like you can do something, at least at that point you'll try it. But if you question it at all, the timing in a game like this, where everything is so fast, it's all fast paced.
Yeah.
That split second can be the difference, which is kind of why I love this so much. Been playing a lot of Vainglory lately, just to get some kind of comparison.
This is an AOV stream, Jury.
True, but just to, in preparation for other things that are going on. True.
Anyway,
I am more of a fan of AOV now than I was, and I love the game anyway. But the last 2 weeks have really cemented my belief that this is the best MOBA that's out.
Well, they're bringing out the original AOV soon.
Yeah, true. Do you think they'll just merge servers with AOV?
I think part of the reason why they're releasing KLG is because they wanted to have international events, but the games inadvertently went off in different directions, where some heroes were just way different from what they originally were in KOG, that they couldn't easily merge things anymore.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to continue to be different games. But I think in the West, KOG is going to be bigger, just because that's going to be their focus from now on. Whereas I think that AOV is going to be bigger in like Southeast Asia and like South America, because it's already big. By the way, Jungler Jade's fan is now support. Support Valor is now mid. Abyssal lane Nemo is now jungle. DS lane Yanam just kills Prince B as I look at him, is now Abyssal lane. And mid lane Sly is now DS lane. By the way, Tons, who played DS lane last game, is playing the same Yoma but in jungle now, because they had no other junglers other than like maybe Caffney. Did Jade's fan just flicker forward?
I believe you did.
Maybe not the smartest. Into 4 members. Uh-oh. Cornsook? Valor? Oh, fireball to the face. That'll get you.
And they're all so low.
Yeah. This is one of those situations where Yanamoon is like, please, just give me my Kunai Blitz. They're all dead if I have my ult. Because he can't just jump in there, he's gonna die. Like even though it looks juicy. That's when you that's a gold play, Jerry. That's a gold play. You jump in there, you're like, I can take him, and then you can't.
Well, no, I mean the Raz was, yeah, but
sorry, I just assumed your thought process.
Oh no, I was thinking of it from a I could crushed ult them and killed him with 2 clicks.
Yeah, but you'd be level 3 too, and you'd be like, no, I wish I had my ult. Anyway, after all that, 400 gold lead for Whitey.
Oh, and he's out. Huh.
I was watching the 3-man rotate into the jungle, but yeah, Hate gets out of there. Olang low, I'll charge out of there. Here comes the Tide of Life.
Does get
Tones is
away.
low. Bye Tones. Fan dies as well. Didn't have his ult quite yet. You can take him. Yanamin, you can take him. If you believe, you can achieve.
Upon release of Errol, I was not a fan at all. As I've seen him play with people who seem to have a better understanding of timing.
Well, you're not
He
alone.
seemed-
You're not alone. People, when he got released in Thailand, the most popular streamer rated him as tier F.
Oh, okay.
So, but I mean, I did not agree.
Oh, actually, I did read that.
I did not agree with
at the
him.
same time.
I did not agree with him
read
at
it.
all, by the way, because it was so clear that people weren't able to play his kit properly because he has such a unique kit where it's like a double-edged sword whenever he auto attacks. He gets stronger in one way but weaker in another. And his ult is very the way usually it's very situational. Same thing with his bone saw, his second ability. Valor is getting kind of scooped up here. He has the Tides of Life, flickers out. In comes Nemo to finish things off. Water Wall does miss. Yanamoon trying to fight with Prince P. Cornsuk? Cornsuk. No Cornsuk. It seems like Cornsuk is Thai, I'm guessing, because we have some Thai people in chat. So I think our guess that the Southeast Asians were taking over your league were perhaps true.
I don't mind it. Send your friends. Teach us more. I think that's great. Well, but I mean, that's the difference between YouTube and Twitch, really.
Oh, that bone saw from Sly. Perfect timing right after the retaliation
yeah.
comes out. Trying to jump on the KKM here. Meanwhile, there's a 4-man rotation coming out from third wheel. Trying to get some damage off. Sly getting some work in. Tries to pop his ult here. Eventually gets away. Knock up on the Tones. James fan still just run around in circles because he's not usually playing support. So how do I do this again? Nice bone saw coming up there. It's a Tides of Light. Tries to get damage in. Tones extremely low. Has the pinwheel out. Jay's fan extremely low as well. Pops the being a bro. He's gonna be able to come back here and be perfectly fine. Slides very low in the area. There it is. The chain lance in. Cornsuk does not go down there. That's the bone saw. Not nearly enough to kill out Tones. Meanwhile, he does go down. Cornsuk just being annoying. Just under tower. So I'm gonna be back right here. Meanwhile, Yanamoon takes out Prince P again. That is matchup has gone heavily in Yanamoon's favor. Yanamoon MVP. Over the match I picked up here for Sephra. That's gonna give her a slow building AP and HP. I believe it's 12 AP per 30 seconds, as well as 100 HP. Yanamoon. Rotation coming in to try to take him out. 4 members trying to take him out here. Flicker 4 from Olang, but pops him. He picks him up the wrong direction. That is the problem with flickering past him. Meanwhile, Victor in a bit of trouble. Uses Retaliate, try to get some damage off, and he's probably gonna go down. There's a Water Spirit to slow him. He changes terrains, gets a little speed boost. Does go down the end. In the meantime, though, Abyssal Dragon taken. Yanamoon gets a big shot back. Oh, the fuse lot. Oh, wait, what did he die to? Hello? I, I, I,
I scrolled down the minute he died, so I did not see what killed him.
it looked like he was already out of the range. Like he had like 0 HP, but he was like out of the range of the fusillade. And then like one stray bullet that somehow went longer than the rest of the ability. Bad timing on this ult from Jade's fan here, but he's gonna get away anyway. Top lane, Sly dealing it out, but gets an unwelcome member, and Cornsik trying to take him out. How is it? Like, both teams are on both sides of their opposing sides of the map. Very strange. Jump in onto Brinsby here. Kunai Blitz misses wide, but they still are able to take out the tower. Getting in on the back line. Taizel comes out. Oleng low jumps in. Yanamoon takes a big wailing blade to the face, but he's going to be okay in the end. Oleng does go down, and so too does Kornsuk.
Oh, nice.
And down goes Tons as well. It's a 4-man semi-wipe here. Retaliate coming out from the Richard. Try to stay alive. Will he be able to do so? Sly diving deep for it, and he does get it. That is a full ace. They do have the siege minion. Princeby is back up though, so looks like they can't push any farther than this, but they do open up a 6k gold lead. Bot tower taken out. Map very much opened up here for YD.
Oh yeah, they're just systematically setting it up so that it would be nice if top were pushing with the rest, but they've got access to the Abyssal. They
can take Dark Slayer with their gold lead. I don't think they can be contested. And the biggest thing is Tones has not the biggest gold amount right now. Not nearly what he had last game.
Yeah, they're going to get it without any pushback. And the gold lead increases.
So Yanamoon and Nemo have tons of gold right now. Yanamoon doing quite a bit of damage. Oh my god, like even just his normal attacks are just taking so much damage. He takes out Oleng, doesn't even need to get his passive off. Meanwhile, oh wow, the unkillable comp comes through. Both the Tides of Life and the Being a Bro there to help Yanamoon stay alive. KKM hiding in the bush. I don't know what he can do though. It's not like he has that much gold. I mean, he has an okay amount, but he hasn't been able to really turn in anything. And yeah, the flank might not work out when your entire team's already dead, KKM. Maybe should have been there a little bit sooner, and that is game.
Huh. After the first match, I guess I was just sleeping on Yugen Dynasty. But they turned it around.
Well,
I'm really just shocked.
It helps when you don't play Superman in the jungle. Also, they might have been in troll mode. They played like 2 troll games in the exhibition match, and they had to get their heads into it.
Yeah, but at the same time, this Ryoma last game, totally different person.
To be fair, Ryoma is really good at duels where you can just slap someone with your Wailing Blade. He also actually gets more gold in this island than he does playing jungle a lot of the time, because the amount of invades that can come in. So
that's true.
I mean, we saw in the lobby. I was going to remark on it, but something else was happening. The entire team had Flicker selected until there was like 10 seconds left, and Tons switched over to Punish. And it felt like they're like, Tons, come on, you got to jungle. No one else can jungle here. And he's like, no, I want to be side lane. At least that's what I'm thinking they were thinking. By the way, Yanamoon on this Hayate was dominant. Just right from the get-go, just completely owning that side lane. Oh, it also should be mentioned that part of the reason why you pick Teamy is that you can get a massive goal advantage, especially with Tide Color's Mark, and that's what was able to happen. So, Part of the reason why Nemo and Yanamoon were able to get so much gold was because of Jade's fan.
Oh, you've got one team. I'm really glad I've got chicken on my friends list. What you don't see is it's nemo.tv/chicken.
Oh, Nemo's chicken.
And the guy, I think you said he had Thai or Vietnamese characters. That's Hitman.
Cornsuk?
Yes.
Wait. Oh, you mean
It's
Hayate?
Hitman corn soup.
Cornsuk is Hitman?
Yes.
Oh.
It sounds way cooler when you say the other thing. So I just haven't said anything.
Huh? Oh, wait. Okay. Are you talking about Yugen Dynasty?
Yes.
Okay. Cornsuk is on third wheel. I'm like reading the English. Yanamoon is so Hitman is Yanamoon.
No. Yeah.
Hayate last game. Was that Hitman?
Yes.
Okay. So when I said Cornsuk is literally spelled in English. So when I said I figured like you would have noticed that I wasn't.
No, I can't look at it because of the corn. It's sort of like the Tara thing. You think about that band from the 90s that no one really liked, but they were popular anyway. Can't let it go.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's a really, really bad band from the 90s.
Oh, you mean Corn with a K?
Yeah,
Oh, I know that band.
they're awful.
Weren't they like... Weren't there people who were arguing Metallica versus Korn a lot?
Yes.
It's like very disdainful, yes.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah. Let's totally flip that around and talk about Lindis, Florentina.
Blue team's turn to
I'm waiting for a...
I still feel like they should ban Yoma though. Even though he didn't play great that game, I think that as long as Thurville puts him in the side lane, not in jungle, he'll be fine.
blue team's turn to pick.
Well, Caf and Hayate are still just crazy. I thought the nerf on Caffney was going to be more substantial, just because of how incredibly strong she was on release.
Wait,
But I
say that
just
again?
Let me pull it up and see. Forget what the note said, but
Wait,
they made it seem like Caffney was going to be far less exciting after she got nerfed. I think it was just the auto attack speed.
Wait, what are you referring to?
Team's turn.
What the nerf when?
No, the one that's coming up. Like, I just don't see that changing her.
No, they
Like,
never.
I'm playing the crap out of her now because
you
of
clearly,
what she is.
You clearly haven't been paying attention to how Tencent balance changes. They never bring the nerf hammer on heroes, which I think is a good idea because you keep seeing the meta change to where people find ways to deal with heroes, and also because they're releasing like extremely strong heroes all the time, sometimes that can alter the meta as well. So heroes that you thought were completely broken end up being not as strong. So they always like give a little like tap on the wrist, right? Like a slap on the wrist for the super strong heroes. They've done this the entire time. Like I remember complaining about how like little they were nerfing Liliana back in the day, but it ends up working out because that's how you get freaking like 70 out of 84 heroes who are meta right now.
To pick.
Because everyone's around the same level, which is what you want. You don't want heroes who are completely useless, and they only have like 5 of those. But yeah, they've always barely done anything to nerf super powered heroes. I think it's the way to go. I was dubious early on as well, but considering like every time I make the tier list, there's like a billion people at the top of the list, and it's not because I can't decide. It's because there literally are that many strong heroes.
Well, I guess over time it was that a lot of heroes, I guess back in December of 2017, were very, very situational. And now, with a lot of gameplay out there, and most of these heroes have more than one path to a combo. Kind of what the whole deal with Yina. There's so many different combos to use and ways to make her work. And a lot of these heroes can do that if played effectively. Maybe not like at a Superman level, the laser beam thing. You just do that one the way he was on release, and then 2 months later you realize, oh yeah, he's got 5 more buttons, and that's when you really saw him kind of step up. I don't know. I like the fact that it's not that every hero isn't situational the way that it was on release.
Yep. Well, speaking of situational, Whitey has gone Superman and Tara, which is interesting because now they're really pigeonholing themselves into getting a marksman jungler, unless they decide that they really want to play the Superman jungle again, which would be I don't know. I think I might just quit the cast at that point.
Have they not noticed that Lindis was the first ban?
Well, they can pick Fennec, I guess. Fennec is like probably the second best marksman jungler. It's a big drop off from Lindis, obviously, but it certainly could be a thing. I don't think it would be that bad here either. He does have.
He's a lot more. He's a lot more fun. I
Yeah.
mean, just in general now.
Yeah, he's just like the thing is his kit is so different that he's has to be played so differently, and people are practicing like Yina these days. So I think like there's gonna be a couple of streamers who start getting really good at him, and then that's gonna be what spurs it, or spurs his popularity. I mean, but he's been banned. Like when I first started playing right after the patch came out, people were like banning Fennec, which is weird, but. He gets double iframes or double or invincibility frame ability with the use of his rolling lightning because he can just jump in, get his stacks off on his Thieves Mark and then jump out. Ormar. You know what? I thought that Ormar was Morin and I got confused, but it's actually Ormar.
Yeah.
So there was the possibility of playing Superman support. That doesn't really. I mean, you could still play Armor side lane, which is like it's weird, but it could work, especially if you're playing against a more bursty side lane on the side of third wheel. Also, what is Tons gonna play? I'm very very curious to see this, since his Yoma has been banned out. That'd be funny. He like literally owns no other heroes. He's like, what do I do now? Alright, he's gonna go Omen, seems like. Ormar is a terrible hero to play against Omen, so he's definitely gonna be playing support here.
Morin. Whoa, okay.
I don't know what
they're doing it again.
Tulin
Tulin.
jungle?
Joker mid.
Yeah, that's Tulin jungle. Tara can play with Punish in the side lane, but Tulin, you don't play him with Punish unless you're playing him jungle. So we have Hitman in jungle. After he played Abyssal Lane the game before. Nemo has jumped from Abyssal to jungle to now Dark Slayer. Jades has moved from jungle to support to now Abyssal? Abyssal Superman, I'm guessing? No, that's Joker. But Joker's mid. Superman or Joker are mid. One of the two is mid. I'm guessing Joker's mid, so Superman's side. No, yeah, that's right. Because Tulin's jungle. I'm like, and then I looked at Tulin for a second. I was like, wait, no. And then I just kind of, my head exploded. So yeah, because Tulin is jungle, that means Joker's likely mid. They technically have all their components together. Like they have, two warriors, which one of which is sometimes in the jungle. They have a mage, they have a marksman, and they have a support. So technically they have all the components. They're just in weird spots.
Welcome to Arena of Valor. Get ready. Minions will be deployed in 5 seconds.
By the way, Third Wheel has a completely normal team. We've been talking about YD this entire time, but Third Wheel has a completely normal team, so there's no real reason to analyze that. Is Valor just going to take this by himself?
I believe so. There we go. And they back out. Yeah, they were just...
They're holding it for Hitman.
Huh.
Tara's dead. That happened, but Team Third Wheel has not been in the bottom this entire game, which means this is going to be the second wave in the row they let go. Valor's extremely low. He goes down. Olang trying to push. Hitman gets away. Jace comes in, knocks him back. But he's out of here. Princey finally gets to the bottom lane with now half health. So Third Wheel is ahead in gold, but the gold is on the wrong heroes. Oh, nice play by Jace to get that. Teamy has a lot of the gold, whereas Valor does not, which is a good thing if you are on the side of YD, because you want to have the gold on the right heroes, and Teamy is not one of those. Unless they obviously getting to being a bro as quickly as possible is helpful, but looks like it might not be in time here for this abyssal clash. No pun intended. Oh, gets stolen out by the Crickneck. KKM gets in there, uses his punish. I believe that Yanamoon or Hitman already used his punish earlier. Valor and Hitman get taken out there. Sly. Oh my god. Sly tried to flicker while he was using his rocket, so the rocket went the opposite direction because the flicker turns you around. Not that it mattered all that much, it's not like the rocket was going to kill anyone. But he ends up getting chained to the ground by tons. And his life gets taken because of it. This has turned to a 6-2 advantage for Third Wheel. And that advantage is the advantage in goal is gonna continue to grow because of this water stone. Skirmish in the mid. Death Embrace comes out, takes out Superman, excuse me.
A red team tower has been destroyed.
So 2,500 gold lead open up here for third wheel. I'm not really sure how YD plans on coming back from this. They don't really have a come from behind team. Tulin is notoriously early game. And they don't really have a defensive team in order to continuously clear waves. As said, Sly trying to take out Olang does force the being a bro, and Can Laughter is a much lower cooldown than being a bro, so that's a trade they'll take every day. Still down 2,500 gold is YD. They're gonna have to get their key players farmed up, Joker and Tulin, to make sure that they get stuff happen. It's part of the reason why going Tulin jungle doesn't really help, by the way. I mean, he can kind of gank, but not really. He doesn't have the constant mad presence that he does when he's in the mid lane. Tulin actually goes from Trick Blade into... sorry, not Trick Blade. I believe that's Monster's Bane or whatever that's called. The second item that goes into Loki's Curse. But regardless, he went for the Phoenix tier afterward. Interestingly enough, tons and a bit of damage. J-Sven misses the knockback on the second one. Has already popped his ult. He's going to get low. And now Tons is already under tower, so it's very dicey. Yeah, the reason why it's dicey is because once he's under tower and you try to finish off the kill, he can just use Death Embrace and you get finished off. Bottom lane, pressure being put onto this tower. Nemo / Chicken trying to hold on, but can't really fight these two, and too much damage coming out from Prince P. Especially since he has finished up the Clavis Sancti. KKM, pretty farmed up at the moment at 4.1k gold, has Astral Spear to go with his Soul Reaver. Nemo trying to be annoying about this Abyssal Dragon, but unable to get it in the end. However, they are able to get the mid tower, so things are starting to pick up a little bit for YD. They've managed to stay behind around the same amount of gold. It's been hover around 2.5 to 3k. The fact they haven't fallen behind from there is good. Olang getting pushed on. He does pop being a bro, so we'll be back, and they get the kill on him regardless. They are able to do so. Meanwhile, on the top lane, fight between Jace Fan and Tones, and nice push back by him that he's going to get the kill onto Omen. Very well done. Meanwhile, on the bottom lane, Sly does get taken out. Trying to survive is Valor, but doesn't get the life steal because Cornsook is untargetable in that Tides of Life, and they unfortunately do not take that team fight in the end. The rotation from KKM was able to turn the tides, and he gets double kill for it. Jacevan trying to cut the wave here, but he's going to die for it. 100%. He probably, yeah. He was deciding whether or not to just die and get the execute. I guess he wouldn't have gotten executed in that situation, but trying to figure out a way to get that last siege minion. Probably not the best decision against Necroth to try to cut off the wave, as KKM made a beeline over that left side. Gold League now. Approaching 4,000. And, oh, excuse me, it's already 4,000. Onto the Dark Slayer is the side of third wheel. KKM taking quite a bit of damage. They need to have tons take the damage instead. And here comes potentially an endless stream of Drakes coming in to finish the game, considering the low cooldowns, or excuse me, the low spawn time on the Dark Slayer. Tons waiting in the bushes, trying to get a good Death's Embrace. If I was gonna title it on out of here. And they're going to decide to take this Abyssal. I'm not sure if it's that important to take, but they're going to go for it anyway. Olang being extremely aggressive here, gets in onto them, pushed back by Jace Fan, gets double, and I don't believe the Bing Bro was in time. No, it was not. They take out Olang as well, and the perfect timing on that. They're still trying to push in. Valor uses his shield just to get even closer. Prince B trying to get behind his towers. I don't know if he can. KKM meanwhile extremely low, but he's a Necroth. He might be able to get away anyway. Meanwhile, the Tulin was able to take out Prince B over in the bottom lane. Valor trying to hold on, trying to take down KKM here. He does have triple buff. Can they take him out? It's extremely hard to get on top of him. Tun's going to try to help out, and they decide to give up on taking out Necroth. So good job by Necroth to get away, but that was definitely a win here for the side of YD. They get 3 kills and really slow down the pushing power of Third Wheel. That said, all members are back. Prince B's going to respawn right now. And then the Drake is out, and they still have a 4,000 gold lead, so Third Wheel may be able to make something happen of this. Jace Fan, a little bit overextended there, try to make another play happen, but the team wasn't in position regardless. Tons trying to take down this tower. He is taking a lot of damage. Hercules Manus is popped. Valor doing a good job of defending as support. Not really sure what Tons is thinking. There's some situations where you can just take the tower even though the opponent is already there, but that wasn't one of them. Trying to take out these minion waves so that there's into more pressure. Big stun by Valor onto multiple members. Here comes the being a bro. Olang, is he going to die in the end regardless? And they do get the kill. Tara falls in return, but they're on to Cornsook now. He doesn't have his ties alive. He is going to maybe did have the ties alive. Didn't realize he or didn't have the opportunity to use it. Valor going extremely low. Does not have his ult to use. Neither does he have the heal. Tons use the flicker to go forward. Sly doesn't really want to fight me. Oh, welcome back. There is the canned laughter, but he's going to go down anyway. Prince P decides to jump on him. There's Jace Fan. He's going to take out and get the ace after a long, hard-fought battle. The ace does come through for YD, and they are certainly back into this game, having not lost a single high ground tower, and are very close in gold.
Yeah, when you have a team fight that spans the entire map, you know you're doing something right. On both sides.
Everyone.
I feel like Nakroth allowed himself to be in a position to get easily ganked when he could have been just doing more sustainable things for the team.
I think what's really caused them to lose these team fights, though, is the excellent play from Valor and Jace Fan. Whoa, Jace Fan takes out Cornsook again. Those two have been able to really just scoop up multiple members and put them in compromised positions.
It's interesting seeing Ormar played really well. You just don't get a lot of that.
The cast time reduction is looming large here. His second ability is so much easier to land, but that's what they're banking on here. Valor, he does get tied in here, but he has his ult, and it's not tied to damage dealt. It just does a flat 2% healing, so he's able to heal right through that Death's Embrace. Oling getting extremely low, but Jace Fan, he's just greedy. He pulls in Prince P. He doesn't care about Oling. Wants to get the Telenos. It does get out of there. Pretty worth it for Jace Fan though, because he pops the being a bro, forces Telenos to go back in base, which allows now YD to start pushing in onto these towers. Great wave clear though, and Third Wheel is able to hold on for now. It seems like still pushing in is YD. They don't want this Drake to die. That's more important. That's why they're sticking around the area. Valor taking a lot of damage. Pops his ult, has it back up again. Even though he gets stunned, he still gets the healing up. Does go down to Prince P in the end. They are pushing in, trying to get this damage. Oh, the Hitman has to use the Arctic Orb, but he's going to die in the end. Prince P just popping off, and Prince P was the difference there. If you weren't aware from the triple kill, that made all the difference. In previous fights, Jace Fan and Valor were able to lock down Prince P, enabled his team to come through and get the kill onto him, but Prince P survived that time, and that made all the difference. Interestingly, Sly went for Muramasa on the Joker. I'm not a fan of that because you already have the rank breaker. I suppose he was just worried about the fact that he wasn't able to just dive the backline. He had to use probably his ult on heroes like Teamy and Omen. So he wanted to get the percentage pierce as quickly as possible. But I feel like going straight for Fenris would have been probably a better choice. Even something like Claves or even the Beast would have been nice as well. Cornstrick uses the Tie of Life. He might be vulnerable now. Jade's fan is in the thick of things. I don't know if he can stay alive. No, he does not, which prevents him from potentially getting onto Prince B in this team fight. Meanwhile, Sly goes down to the pressure from the Croft. Hitman trying to get away as well, getting jumped on by 2 members, but he cannot survive it. Now only 1 member left. Nemo's going to try to make this happen, but it seems unlikely. There's a full minion wave that he has to clear. Down goes the high ground tower. They're pushing in, pulled in by the Omen, completely just shut down the Tidal Life and the Being a Bro just to make sure that everyone stays alive. There is no minion left, but that's not going to make any difference. They have plenty of damage between the Cross and the Telenos, and that is going to be a 2-1 victory here for Third Wheel.
Well played. And your point that, the small things make the biggest difference. Most Telenases would have stayed there, and that would have changed the entire scope of the last 6 minutes.
What do you mean, stayed where?
Under tower. When they were pushing the tower, the Tel backed out briefly to heal.
Yeah.
Had she not done that, and most of them would have, most Telenas players would have likely stayed in just to get that extra damage, just to, for the team. But that one small decision, because he took a little bit of damage. He probably, I'm going to say he would have died. That was the difference.
All right. I mean, well, I think another thing is that Jade's fan was doing a really good job of scooping up Tel, and he nearly scooped up Tel from below the tower. And hindsight is obviously 2020, but if YD had just committed to killing him, and even lost a member doing so, it would have been good for them. At the time, they're probably thinking, we're finally in control of this game. So they backed up a little bit, like, okay, we can let this go, we'll take the next fight because we've been taking fights lately. But because Tel was still alive and they didn't have the capability of scooping her up in the next team fight, that snowballed into the victory for Third Wheel. So in hindsight, they should have just killed her. They should have sacrificed in order to do so. And ended up costing them. That said,
at the same time, they had pretty high health heroes, so they could have definitely.
I think more so than anything was just these weird team comps where they're throwing Tulin in jungle, and I don't know. It's very strange.
All right, so that was an interesting round 1. This particular qualifier, most of the teams opted to wait until qualifier 3. So we had it was a much smaller team pool in this one.
Yeah.
So round 2, which is tomorrow, and also the finals are tomorrow. Pretty easy.
Yep. Tune in same time.
Gonna start with the final team. The only team that got a bye was a Troubled Few, who will play
Third Wheel.
We've got Vinny Vidi Vici versus Team 1.
Yep.
And the winner of those two, both in this one and the next, we will take 2 teams. So whoever makes it to the finals, both are going to the main tournament, but they're effectively at that point just playing for the money.
Sounds good. Okay, see you
Make money.
guys. See you guys tomorrow. So that would be roughly 20 hours from now. Yes. Yes. Okay. Anyway, or 19 hours. Or yeah, 20 hours and like 20 minutes. Anyway. See you guys then. Signing off.